is to watch undefeated and 15th ranked Boise State. Over the years, there have been many so-called lesser-named college football programs that have grabbed the attention of voters. This season, there are two potential BCS busters, the Utah Utes and the Boise State Broncos. Tonight, Boise State looks to go to 8-0, but standing in the Broncos' way, a man on a mission. Hawaii's Timmy Chang, who looks to set the NCAA career passing mark while trying to end Boise State's dream season. History could be made tonight. Welcome to the second of 19 straight days of football on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. Boise State puts the nation's longest winning streak on the line. The Broncos have won 18 in a row, 23 consecutive home games. Hawaii comes into this game winners of 3 of the last 4 games and an overall mark of 3-3. Hi, everybody. Dave Pasch, Rod Gilmore, Trevor Manich. Guys, Boise State trying to make history, have an undefeated season, and get BCS Bowl eligible, which means you have to finish in the top 12 in the BCS standings. Boise State currently 13th. History to be made on the other side as Hawaii quarterback Timmy Chang looks to break Ty Detmer's career passing mark and should do it tonight.
Well, he should, but you have to remember he's had a roller coaster career. Injuries, but set school records. Then he was benched. But now he has a chance to become the NCAA's all-time leading passer by breaking the record of the Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer. All you need is a little bit of math to figure it out. 241 a game for him. He needs 330 passing per game. The Boise State defense, they give up 265. That tells me, Trevor, that he's going to get it done tonight. And not only that, he's going to get a little bit of respect when he gets it done.
Yeah, and respect is something Boise is also searching for. Coach Dan Hawkins talks about building the program brick by brick. They've added bricks to their program this year with a number of firsts. 7-0 start, first time ever, their first win over a Pac-10 team. 18-game winning streak. They lead the NCAA in rush defense for the first time. And when you want respect, they are 13th in the BCS rankings. All you have to do is look at the teams ranked behind them. Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, LSU. Tonight, Boise has another opportunity to show the nation that they deserve their respect.
Boise State can score, so can Hawaii. And if you're looking to fill your trick-or-treat bag with touchdowns, the two coaches in this game shouldn't disappoint tonight.
Can inspiration make the simple act of driving around extraordinary? Yes. Can substance and style blend seamlessly together? Clearly. And can the car of your dreams be an affordable reality? Absolutely. The 150-mile-per-hour performance-tested Chrysler Crossfire. Lease one for only $299 a month if you're a well-qualified.
Welcome back. Time to introduce to you the fourth member of our crew. Let's go to the sideline, check in with Rob Stone.
Well, Dave, they say records were made to be broken, but the one that Timmy Chang should set tonight is borderline untouchable, at least if you ask his head coach, June Jones. And here's why. Due to the financial restrictions and obligations of all the travel that Hawaii has to go through, they are allowed 1 extra regular season game a year. That's 4 bonus games throughout Chang's career. He's played in 3 bowl games, and he received a medical redshirt year after playing 3 games. That adds up to 10 extra games for Chang compared to what a normal quarterback might see in his career if he's lucky. Now, Jones could not stress the importance of this record to us enough, saying 10 to 20 years from now, people will fully understand the magnitude of this achievement.
Well, Rob, I think you're right. I think the 4 games, the regular season games that they get the extras, that might be the difference in somebody else coming along and challenging that record, because I can see a guy starting 4 years plus and doing some of the other things like a bowl game and being in the system. But those 4 extra games, that's hard to compete with.
And we're underway from Boise as Jones kicks it towards the corner, and it'll be a touchback. Hawaii will start at the 20-yard line as Timmy Chang comes onto the field, number 3 in the country in total offense. And as we talked about, needs 240 yards to tie Ty Detmer and 241 to break the record. And guys, he's also 3 interceptions shy of tying the NCAA record for most INTs in a career.
He's only thrown 3 this season, though, and 2 last week really weren't his fault. He's been a very accurate passer this year, much more than ever before.
Yeah, 42 in 2001 and 2002 combined. First down, Hawaii. And Chang in the shotgun. Chang's first pass of the night is caught across the middle to the 33-yard line. Is sophomore wide receiver Jason Rivers, tackled by Austin Smith. And Tim Chang has many targets to shoot at.
And the best of all is number 2, Chad Owens. He's one of the best wide receivers ever to play at Hawaii. He does it, according to Coach June Jones, not with straight-ahead blazing speed, but with the best lateral quickness that he's ever seen on any level.
Owens, a former walk-on, averages 8 receptions per game, as you see, third in the country. From the Hawaii 33-yard line. Chang with time. Now moves out of the pocket and throws it away. 1 senior, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores on the Hawaii offensive line.
Yeah, and a pretty good one at the center spot, and Derek Fa'avi right there in the middle. He's going to have a great matchup because he's got to keep Alex Guerrero away from Timmy Chang. You see the big guy inside there. He goes at about 285 pounds.
Guerrero with 2.5 sacks this year. Junior from Bray, California. Second down and 10 at the Hawaii 33. 2 plays, 2 passes. Here's play number 3. And it's pass number 3. And he's got his second completion as it's pulled in by Britton Colmine, former walk-on, with his 30th catch of the season, an 11-yard gain. The linebacking core perhaps the strength of Boise State's defense.
Yeah, and Andy Avalos gets most of the publicity as the preseason all-WAC Defensive Player of the Year, but Corey Hall is a great one. He's got a knack that's important for this game. That is to jump passing lanes, read quarterbacks, intercept balls, and Gabe Franklin will have the hard task of covering the great wide receiver, Chad Owens.
Hall had that big game against Oregon State, 3 picks, including 1 for a touchdown in a win here at home earlier this season. 2 interceptions for Franklin on the year, and a first down for Hawaii from the 44. First running play, and it's Kali'i Kipi, the 280-pound tailback, and he gets 8 yards in the carry before the 180-pound cornerback, Gabe Franklin, makes the tackle.
It is interesting what Boise wants to do. You've got a team in Hawaii that will throw the ball 60 or 70 times a game, and yet still their first priority in this game is to stop the run, not the pass.
Do you really believe that?
Well, that's what they said.
But do you really believe that?
Not really.
They have done a good job stopping the run this year, only allowing 63 yards per game. That's number 1 in the country in rushing defense. On 2nd and 2, a play fake, and Chang in trouble, gets rid of it, and incomplete. Overshooting Chad Owens, so it brings up 3rd down and short. Dan Hawkins has done a tremendous job at Boise State in his 4th year. The fiery head coach with a 40-6 mark, 26-2 in the WAC. Took over for Dirk Cutter, now at Arizona State. Houston Nutt also coached here. They've only been Division I since 1996. Yet over the last 5 seasons, they have as good a record as anybody in the country. 3rd and 2 from the 48 of Boise State. It's a handoff to Brewster, and he's got the first down as he powers to the 41-yard line. A gain of 7 on the play. Deshaun Kabong on the stop. Brewster, a senior from Houston, Texas, with his 50th rush of the year.
Well, you know, it's cold here. It's not cold in Hawaii. But I noticed before the ball game, Brewster was out on the field without a shirt on. And he was trying to prove to everybody, hey, this cold's not going to bother anybody. Psyching him up.
Yeah, just like Honolulu, he might as well be on Waikiki Beach.
Well, it's interesting, June Jones was telling us now, Brewster is from Texas, but there are a lot of players that played high school football in Hawaii. They've never been in a cold game on the mainland. So this is a first-time experience for a lot of Hawaii players. And Chang flushed out of the pocket again and does well to find his check down at the 39-yard line. Catch made by Chad Owens, his second already. Andy Avalos with the tackle, the first-team All-WAC performer from last year.
One of the things you like about Timmy Chang is the way he does the work in the pocket with his feet. You see he's only 216 yards away now from that record, and it's because of the way he moves around with his feet to buy time.
He does buy time. That allows those receivers to get open. It also means he takes fewer hits. He has a knack for this. His freshman year, he's a senior now, but his freshman year, he was only sacked about 6 times in 600 attempts.
One incompletion so far. Inside running play, Kali'i Kipi. He dances to the 34-yard line. There's a gain of about 6. Corey Hall on the tackle. Let's take a look at the Western Athletic Conference standings. How about UTEP? They're 24th in the BCS standings.
No question that Mike Price can coach. You know, doesn't matter where he is. He's going to get a nice job done. And Boise State cruising along there at 4-0 in the conference.
Yeah, and Carson Palmer, the Heisman Trophy winner from, or the first-round draft choice from USC, his brother is starting a quarterback at UTEP.
3rd down and 3. Play clock at 5. Chang trying to zip it over the middle. Incomplete. Trying for Gerald Welsh. And it's 4th down. We're in Boise, Idaho, as Hawaii quarterback Tim Chang looks to break Ty Detmer's NCAA career passing mark, 216 yards away from doing so. And June Jones, the head coach for Hawaii, is going to go for it, trusting his senior quarterback Chang here on 4th down and 3.
Oh, they're on the 35-yard line, and they've moved the ball down the field. Chang has been pretty good, making good decisions as to when to throw the ball away. I think it's a good idea to go for it on 4th down here.
I do too. This is shaping up to be a shootout, and they need to score points to keep up with Boise's offense.
Their field goal kicker did hit a 56-yarder earlier this year, but they go on 4th down, and Chang has a completion and a first down as Jason Rivers pulls down his second catch. 9-yard pickup for June Jones' team.
One question that people had about Timmy Chang was his arm strength. But you know, you don't question his footwork. He's got great feet, he gets himself set, and he throws his ball on a line.
And note that he shifted slightly to the left. That's because a blitz came from the right. That was the first blitz of the game for Boise. They tried to mix it up. Chang saw it. He adjusted in the pocket, delivered the pass.
June Jones says Chang much more committed this year. Spent a lot of time in the weight room and in the film room after getting benched late last season. First down at the 26-yard line of Boise State. And Chang with time. And going up top, incomplete. He was trying for Comine. Gabe Franklin on the coverage, pass a little too high.
And we'll call Gabe Franklin's name an awful lot because they try to get him on the best receiver. And here's Chang trying to hit Comine on the post pattern with Franklin covering. Great coverage, and that ball's a little bit high.
And note there's no other defensive backs anywhere near there, Rod. Cornerbacks have that mentality. They want the man coverage challenge.
Franklin, a senior from Hayward, California, leads the Western Athletic Conference in pass breakups. 12th play for Chang and company, 2nd down and 10. Kali'i Kipi with his 3rd carry, and he carries Boise State defenders with him for 5 yards to the 21. Let's check in with Rob.
Their decimated defense and the high-powered Boise State offense as much time on the bench as possible. They have been working the play clock since the very first snap tonight. They have not taken a snap, guys, with more than 4 seconds left on the play clock. This is certainly planned.
Tells you what June Jones is thinking. He does want to keep his defense off the field, but he also wants to keep the Boise State offense off the field and change the pace of the game.
On 3rd and 5, Chang to the air again. And Chang throwing to nobody. Miscommunication between the quarterback and at least one receiver, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Owens ran a post pattern when Chang expected him to go to the corner.
And that's how he has actually had a few interceptions. He was fortunate there. There were no defensive backs there. Some of the interceptions that he's gotten this year are because receivers ran the wrong route or a ball was tipped up in the air.
In their system, they read on the go. The routes are not called in the huddle, and they run it. They must see the same coverage and adjust to it.
38-yard attempt for Justin Ayat, who hit a 56-yarder earlier this year, the 2nd longest in the country. And this kick is true, and Hawaii strikes first. Good start for Timmy Chang, and the Hawaii Warriors, they lead Boise State on the road, 3-0. As always. Well, that's what Boise State is hoping to do to Timmy Chang. It was a 14-play drive for Chang and the Warriors, but they had to settle for 3 points. And remember, Boise State is the nation's top scoring team, averaging 44 points per game. Quentin Jones will take the ensuing kick at the 20. And up to the 23-yard line. Tackled by Chad Kapanui. Well, Tim Chang is number 3 in the NCAA in total offense. Jared Zabransky, who is a sophomore, first-year starter for Boise State, is 10th in the country in total offense. And very loose in warm-ups.
I thought he was a potato farmer. He's got a little stuff going on there.
That's how you mash potatoes, I guess.
Potato farmer, yet not from Idaho. He's from Oregon. 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for Zabransky this year, 7 rushing touchdowns. And as light rain begins to fall, the first snap on offense for the top offense in the country in terms of scoring. And a running play as Jeff Carpenter picks up close to 10 yards, taking it out of bounds on the near side. They wanted a late hit, but no penalty flag on the play. Very close.
Well, they're looking for a late hit. And you know, oh, there's the late hit. Wow. Well, he runs right smack into a lineman. That's Phil Kaufman. That's.
Oh, did you see him wink too?
He didn't even need a helmet.
Oh, he said, I got away with one there.
Yep.
You run over into Hawaii territory. Better be prepared.
2nd down and 1. First pass of the day for Zabransky. And he's got a completion. Sherm Blaser, the backup tight end.
Take a look at this. I'm just trying to stop the guy. I'm trying to help him out.
You said, hey, I don't have a helmet on. I'm trying to defend myself. So I'm going to just drill him. Okay. Kaufman doesn't even step back hardly after that. Well, that's a heck of a hit. Now, he's a backup offensive lineman, so that might be the best hit he'll have all day, but he'll remember it. Got him on national TV.
Penalty flag on the previous play, illegal formation, so back up Boise State 5 yards. Have a 2nd down and 6. You guys have had a chance to see Zabransky several times. Where do you see the maturation with this young kid?
Well, he certainly is a lot more relaxed than we saw him in the very first game of the season. I mean, he takes control. He seems to be in charge of the offense and knows what he's doing much more than early on.
Another running play as the fullback Helmendahler bounces off defenders and picks up the first down to the 35. Leonard Peters on the tackle. A lot of players will touch the football for Boise State in this game.
Yeah, but nobody more so than Dryzen James. He's the big play receiver. We'll see him go deep a few times.
James with 27 catches on the year. T.J. Acree, also a terrific player with 29 grabs. 12 touchdowns in the last 14 games for T.J. Acree. But as Rod said, they think that James might be the best of the bunch. First down from the Boise State 35. Already the 4th running back who's touched the football. This is Calvin McCarty, the 4th-string fullback for 10 yards to the 45. Kenny Patton on the stop. Maybe it doesn't matter who's running it with the way this offensive line is playing.
Well, Darren College, a left tackle, is a point of security for quarterback Jared Zabransky. He will lock down that blind side every time he goes back to pass. Where they've got to worry is inside. Defensive tackle Louis Funga of Hawaii is a 6th-year senior. He is a beast, and he has got a mean streak a mile wide. He's the one they'll have to worry about.
Funga at one tackle, Fonga at the other, and don't you forget it. Here's a toss sweep to Quentin Jones, the 5th running back that we've seen in the football game. 2-yard pickup, and Kapanui on the stop. A lot of injuries at linebacker and DB for Hawaii.
Well, they've just been decimated, particularly at the linebacking core where they have 2 new starters in there. I think they have a total of like 5 new players in the lineup for them. But their secondary is pretty strong. And the guy who really is a top-notch player is Abraham Elamimian. He's a guy who can lock down a receiver. They'll put him in man-to-man coverage an awful lot tonight.
Number 1 in the country in interceptions per game, Abe Elamimian. On 2nd and 8, another handoff. And about 2 yards on that carry to the 50-yard line. Matt Funga brings down the running back.
You know, Boise State is not normally a very patient team running the football, but this defense is so weak, or has been, that they've given up a lot of yards. San Jose State blitzed them last week.
Well, they will take, Boise will, whatever the defense will give them. And it's clear that what they're giving them now is the running game.
And you see the points per game, the comparison of these two teams, rushing yardage. Hawaii giving up an awful lot.
Both teams are the top 11 in passing offense. Zabransky can run, and he's very close to the first down as he dives to the 46-yard line. Tackled by Brad Kalilimoku. And going to be a little bit short. It brings up 4th down.
Now you know why Zabransky was doing all that dancing before the ball. He was getting loose so he could bust a move out there.
He's got 7 rushing touchdowns. Also has a reception this year. And they're going for it on 4th down. And Zabransky fakes. Oh, he's got a man wide open. But it goes through the hands of the intended receiver, Blaser. What a ball fake by Zabransky, but he misses Blaser, who would have had a touchdown easily.
Tell you what, this has got to be an eternity for a quarterback to hold this fake for this long. He goes down on the ground and pretends that the ball's a fumble, and then when he comes back up, nobody sees the backup tight end, Blaser.
Yeah, Blaser made the mistake. He's here. He's going to get out here, but that's the fun part. Watch the fun part of the ball fake. Now you see Blaser all by himself, but he's looking back. He should be running ahead. He didn't run full speed. Look at that. That's great.
Well, we knew that Dan Hawkins had some tricks up his sleeve, as we are a couple of days shy of Halloween. That was one of them, but it didn't work. And Timmy Chang, in pursuit of a record, takes over, but they hand it off to Kali'i Kipi, who is upended for about 3 yards. That's about the only way to bring him down, cut him at the legs. That's what Alex Guerrero did. There's Blaser, would love to have that last play back.
He'd love to have that last play back, but when you talk about cutting Kali'i Kipi at the legs at 280 pounds, when you cut him at the legs, he's going to land somewhere.
You hope it's not on you. 2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard pickup by Kali'i Kipi. Shotgun formation again. And Chang with time. Pass over the middle is caught and then fumbled by Kumine, and Hall picks it up, and now they're going to say incomplete. Incomplete pass. Kumine never had possession before he got hit by Andy Avalos.
We talk so much about a quarterback's vision, but it helps when you've got a throwing lane. Spread the formation. Look at all of that. Look at all that. He can just throw it when the receiver comes into it. Plenty of room.
And he sees the wide receiver, Kumine, against the linebacker, Avalos, and that is part of the vision of a quarterback. Know where your matchups are.
Chang is 4 out of 10 for 33 yards, so a little bit more than 200 yards to go to catch Ty Detmer. 3rd down, more importantly, as Chang's pass is incomplete. Kumine had to adjust, couldn't pull it to the chest, gave Franklin on the coverage, and it's 4th down.
Well, on that last play, they called it incomplete. He's got to make the catch, turn upfield, 1 down, 2 down. He's a runner, and that looks like it was a fumble. He didn't seem like he had that put away.
That was a missed call, no question.
That's right. He had possession of the ball, turned up the field, even though the possession was not secured away like it should be. I call that a fumble.
Kurt Milne on to boot it away. Austin Smith set to return, has it at the 20-yard line. Nifty move by Smith. And finally stood up at about the 33-yard line. Omega Hogan leading the charge. 14-yard return after a 31-yard punt. Dave Pash, Rod Gilmore, Trevor Mattich, Rob Stone in Boise, Idaho. The nation's longest winning streak on the line. Boise State has won 18 straight games. Hawaii has an early 3-0 lead. So far, Timmy Chang is 4 out of 10 passing. Trying to catch Ty Detmer, needs 208 yards. to surpass Detmer as the nation's all-time career leader in passing yards.
And so far, the pace of this game has been at Hawaii's speed. They've controlled the clock. Boise State is not a patient offense, but they've been patient so far.
Empty backfield on first down. And Zabransky has a man, and Blazer's got it at the 42-yard line. Wrestled down there. And some late hits in there, but no flag down. Beatty wanted a call there, Matt. Manuma on the tackle for Hawaii.
Well, some of that pacing has to do with offensive coordinator Pete Peterson. They call his offense Pete's Poison because he has so many crazy things that he does to you. And whether you try to take away the pass or the run, he will hit you where you're weak.
2nd down and 2. Lee Marks with his first carry of the day. And a huge hole takes him to the 50-yard line. Tackle made by Watson Ohuli. 8-yard pickup on the play. Saturday, ESPN, ESPN2 have more college football in prime time. At 7 Eastern, it's Miami taking on North Carolina. Brock Berlin trying to keep the Hurricanes undefeated. UNC has never defeated a top 5 team. Auburn can clinch the SEC West Division title with a win over Ole Miss. 7:45 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. Here's Zabransky, and some miscommunication between he and Josh Smith, his wide receiver. So brings up 2nd down and 10. Boise State, one of the undefeated teams in the country. Miami is also undefeated.
There you see the guys that are all playing this weekend. Boise State, one of the few undefeated teams playing at home. Miami, I'm surprised at how well Brock Berlin has been playing. Last 3 games, he's been lights out.
He has, and it's not just because they've gone back to the shotgun. In the second half of the Louisville game, they played a lot of shotgun. That's when he really broke out. But then the following week, last week at NC State, he was back under center, equally good.
Oklahoma also an undefeated team taking on Oklahoma State tomorrow. College game day guys are there. Here's Carpenter getting taken down for a loss by Mel Purcell. They weren't sure that he was going to start today, but Purcell is, despite a chest injury.
Now you talk about Oklahoma State, and to me that's a tricky game for Oklahoma. I mean, I think Oklahoma can win that, but Oklahoma State has been playing awfully well.
You know, whenever you get the attention of the Sooners, they tend to show up. They tend to show up with an attitude. I think they'll be ready to play tomorrow.
They thumped them last year after losing consecutive seasons to OSU. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Oklahoma with that balance. Adrian Peterson and then Jason White playing as well as he is. On 3rd down and 12, Zabransky lobbing downfield, got a man, but it's broken up, incomplete. Ryzen James probably should have caught it. Ray Bass got a hand in there at the last second.
Well, one thing you learn as a corner is you will get beat. That's not the problem. The problem is don't stay beat. And you see Bass coming back to get into the play and fighting to get the ball out.
And Bass, a backup corner, he sees that ball come in, gets his hands up there, and bounces it away when it's not caught cleanly, and that's a great job from a backup.
Kyle Stringer to boot it away to Chad Owens. Maybe the most dangerous punt returner in college football. And he gets taken down immediately, but a flag down. Quentin Jones did not allow him to catch the football. 42-yard punt. Again, a penalty flag down. Bill Athen is our referee tonight from the Western Athletic Conference. We'll get the call here momentarily as here it is. You got to let him catch it. That halo rule is gone, but you still have to let him catch the football. And Quentin Jones did not allow Chad Owens to pull it in. Timmy Chang and the Hawaii offense back in the field when we come back.
You're all right, man.
For those who never quit, the battery that never quits. Energizer. Keep going.
Maybe you should ask your doctor about prescription Celebrex. To learn more, go to Celebrex.com.
Back in Boise, where the Broncos have won 18 consecutive games, 23 in a row at home, 22 straight in the WAC. They trail Hawaii 3-0 early. Tim Chang trying to set the NCAA career passing mark. Is 208 yards shy of doing so. 4 for 11 for 33 yards in this game. His 12th pass of the night, and he's going deep. Just over the head of Comine.
Well, this offense is June Jones' zone hybrid. There's a couple of features to it. One is the run and shoot, which requires the quarterback and the receivers to read the coverage. And the receivers and quarterbacks know exactly where the receivers are going to end up. And he learned that with Mouse Davis with the Detroit Lions. And Mouse is here in Hawaii as a special teams assistant now. But these two guys together are some of the most creative passing minds on any level of football. And the run and shoot, where both the quarterback and the receivers read the coverage and adjust, is one of the components of this offense.
2nd down and 10. From the Hawaii 24, Kaliki keeping nowhere to go. Nice play in the backfield by true freshman Austin Smith.
Well, Trevor, the hybrid portion of this Hawaii offense comes via Bill Walsh and his West Coast offense, which really ought to be called the Walsh offense instead of West Coast. Hey, June Jones spent some time with Bill Walsh. Walsh came out to Hawaii, helped him refine some of the things that he uses. And the thing about the West Coast offense that isn't here with Hawaii, no tight end and very limited fullback. West Coast offense really relies on having a tight end and a running game.
A lot of times West Coast you'll see 2 backs.
Yep.
3rd down and 10, and Chang has to call for time. He was not going to get the playoff. Would have been a penalty for delay of game, but calls timeout instead. Hawaii leading Boise State 3-0, just over 3 minutes to play in the opening quarter from Boise, Idaho. ESPN days of football on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. A lot of folks get out to games from the ESPN family. And one of those guys is joining Rob Stone on the sideline. Rob?
Yeah, we're all about synergy here at the ESPN family, aren't we? Pat Forty, a columnist for ESPN.com. You and one of the other columnists going to every one of these games. You have 10 games. This is the first of 10 for you. What is your angle for this Boise State experience?
I think really for the Boise State experience, it's the kind of the fixer-up program, that's kind of come out of nowhere, and maybe the least likely place in America to find a football powerhouse.
All right, now on Super Tuesday, you're going to be at Miami of Ohio football game. How are you going to handle the dichotomy of a national election and a college football game?
In a battleground state, no less. Yeah. That's really going to be interesting. I'm hoping to go to the polls with some of the Miami, Ohio players, actually, and vote with them.
All right, travel safe. Take your vitamin C.
Thank you.
All right, 3rd down and 10. From Hawaii's 24-yard line. Chang with time, and it passes incomplete. Trying for Welch again. Chang has been a little hot with some of his throws in this first quarter.
Well, not a lot of room to stick the ball in there. Good man-to-man coverage by Boise State's defense. They're forcing Chang to be exactly on the money.
And they're mixing it up enough that they are disrupting the timing just a tiny bit. A lot of this offense has to do with timing, and Boise mixing up coverages, some blitzes, is doing some damage to that timing.
Milne with his 2nd punt of the day, booting it away to Austin Smith. And Smith past the 40. Good block. And there goes Smith. Austin Smith inside the 25.
Well, in order to get a big return, you always have to get to the picket fence, Trevor. You got to get to the wall out there.
And look at number 91. Easy Kaika, Alama Francis. He gets hit by Deshaun Kabong, who's a defensive back. Alama Francis is a defensive lineman, and he just got laid out by a little DB.
And Austin Smith is replacing Chris Carr, who's injured, and Carr has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. They may have found a guy who can return him as well. Smith, just a true freshman. 1st down for Boise, best field position of the night. And here's Lee Marks off right tackle. And down to a 13-yard line before he's taken down by Lincoln Manutai. Saturday morning, Chris Lee and Kirk preview the upcoming day in college football and have all the latest news and stories in College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. They're live from Stillwater tomorrow for Bedlam, OU and OSU. Just a couple of days away from the start of November. It's Arguably the best time of year in college football. Everybody battling for position within their conference and within the BCS rankings. Here's Helmendahler up the gut, past the 10 to the 9-yard line. He gets the first down, picking up 5. Chad Kapanui with a tackle.
I wonder how many of those 19 days of football, you know, Chris Lee and Kirk will have as we take a look at the BCS all-state standings there.
USC number 1, Oklahoma moving ahead of Miami this week after Miami was second last week.
Well, yeah, that's all because of the computer rankings. There are 6 different computer rankings, and it's kind of whacked out how they work out, but it'll correct itself. Utah at number 6. If they stay there, they're guaranteed a berth in a BCS Bowl.
Boise State 13th, but some teams behind them that could move up with big wins. As Zabransky's going to score easily. Another amazing fake by Zabransky.
Remember that old game? What was it? Find Waldo? Just like, find the ball. Try and find the ball here. Everybody thinks it's to the left. Oops. He's going to the right.
Well, that is a huge Zabransky. That's just amazing ball skills. Maybe Houdinsky.
Tyler Jones on for the extra point. Boise State 7. Hawaii 3. 8th rushing touchdown this season for Jared Zabransky. It was funny. The fans here started roaring as soon as they saw Zabransky run. They knew before the Hawaii players knew what was going on.
Well, just watch the Hawaii players here. Watch all these guys. Watch what happens. Everybody goes to the left. Surprise. There he is.
There's 0 on this side of the field defenders, and that is a really interesting looking drawing right there. That's an Etch-a-Sketch, got completely haywire. But the point is that Zabransky completely faked out that Hawaii defense. Not a single defender on the entire half of that field.
I tell you, Dan Hawkins breaking out trickeration a couple days before Halloween. I guess it's his only shot at it, huh?
Well, they called Pete's Poison here. Chris Peterson, the offensive coordinator. Pete's Poison named after him. Hawkins was an assistant under Dirk Cutter here. And there's been talk that should Dan Hawkins get thrown a line from another college football program to take off, that Peterson might be the replacement here. Jason Ferguson out past the 20 and to the 26-yard line before he stopped. Well, it's not been a good start to the game for Tim Chang in his quest to knock off Ty Detmer as the passing champ.
Well, the coverage has been excellent. So his throws either have to be perfect or they're not there. A few shots, but he hasn't been sacked. They haven't really been in sync.
And they haven't blitzed much, but when they have blitzed, they've gotten into his line of vision. They probably won't sack him. It'll be very difficult, but just to disrupt the timing enough by getting into his vision is the plan.
Needed 241 coming into today to surpass Detmer. Now needs 208. Again from the shotgun on first down at the Hawaii 26. Chang dumping it off to Owens, who is sprawled to the 30-yard line. Corey Hall rips him down. 3 tackles already for Hall. 3 catches for Owens.
Well, Rod, you mentioned the center, number 59, Derek Fa'avi, and how important he is in pass protection right in the middle. And look at that terrific block against Andrew Browning. Keeps that middle of that line from getting into the way of Chang.
And gives Chang a throwing lane there, because remember, he's only about 6'1". He's not the biggest quarterback you'll find, and throwing lanes are important.
6'1", about 200 pounds is Tim Chang. 5th-year senior, 2nd down and 6. And here's Michael Brewster cutting it back nicely before he's banged to the turf at the 34-yard line. Alex Guerrero on the stop.
Guys, you know, Timmy Chang has been under so much pressure throughout his career at Hawaii because he was like a rock star. I mean, he was such a great high school player that when he decided not to go to Cal or any of those other places that recruited him, it was like a huge celebration. They have no pro team there, so he's been like the pro quarterback.
Well, he went to St. Louis High School in Honolulu. Local favorite, local hero, still is.
Hawaii 1 out of 5 on 3rd down. Chang in trouble. Sacked. Back at the 21-yard line. Onabukun who recently was moved from wide receiver to defensive back, sacks Chang for a 13-yard loss.
It is extraordinarily difficult to get a wide receiver or a cornerback to blitz off the corner and sack Chang. 1, his vision. 2, his quick release. And 3, the fact that he's in the shotgun. And yet, Onibokun turns on the jets and takes him down.
I'm on ESPN.
This is your soul plane chauffeur.
One airline has it all. Safety.
I don't know what you got in there, but we gonna find out. Security check.
Service.
We got a cockfight we're setting up in 10 minutes.
And plenty of style.
Sit tight and enjoy the flight.
You can't use that phone. Please, no. They say that to rip you up.
Order Soul Plane on in-demand pay-per-view. Fly the funky skies without leaving home on Comcast.
My cable company's acting different, and frankly, it's freaking me out.
Call us if you have any questions.
Lately, they've been using these new words like, yes, and they're on time, and they're friendly. I mean, who does that? Suddenly, my TV cable is supercharging my computer internet, and my computer is acting more like a TV. Bam, it's right there. That's not right. It's giving me the willies.
That was then. This is Comcast.
Chilly night in Boise, where the home team has a 7-3 lead as we get ready to start the second quarter. Boise State ranked 15th in the country, 7-0 on the season, 18-game winning streak, the best in the country. Austin Smith set to return this Milne punt. Smith's last return went for 41 yards. Smith gets hit again and loses the ball, and a flag flies in. That'll be the second time that we've had that penalty where the gunner does not allow the receiver, the punt returner, to catch the football. You have to at least let him to pull it in.
Once again, you've got to give him enough room to be able to catch it. It looked like he did. I think what you might see there is helmet-to-helmet contact before the returner converted from a helpless receiver of the punt to a ball carrier. He caught the ball, but he didn't necessarily make a football move.
Ross Dickerson was the man that hit Smith. Well, on the last pass by Tim Chang, check it out. He did have a sore left shoulder coming into this game. Hurt him earlier in the season.
Yeah, he gets a shot there, and Onibokun lands on the left shoulder, although Chang lands on the carpet on his right shoulder. That's a bad non-throwing shoulder that's been bothering him. He winces here at the end. And so I think that's probably more of a problem for Chang than we've been led to believe so far. But then the other problem that they've had is that he hasn't been on the same page with their receivers. They've run some bad routes with him misreading them.
They have, and Boise's defense is taking away Chad Owens. Their great wide receiver only has 2 catches for 5 yards.
First down, Boise State. And Zabransky going to the air. And going deep, man, wide open. It's caught and then dropped at the last second.
That is Boise State's, at least their 3rd drop ball. 2 of them were long balls, which could have been touchdowns. This one, right on the money, dropped.
Well, Baltimore Colts Hall of Famer Raymond Berry, wide receiver, said you catch the ball with your feet. That time Quentin Jones did not have his feet set. He was going down as he tried to make that reception, and because of that, his balance was off and the ball popped out when he hit the ground.
Second down and 10 from the Boise State 45. Another fake, and Zabransky throwing on the run, and T.J. Acree makes the grab inside the 45-yard line for a first down, 13-yard pickup. Numbers on Timmy Chang, 5 out of 14, 37 yards coming into tonight, 241 yards away from breaking Ty Detmer's record. He thought he was going to get it. I think the Boise State coaches thought that he was going to get it, but at this rate, he won't.
Well, I think it's a little bit early. I still think that the biggest problem is that they're not on the same page with the receivers. They could get that straightened out as long as his shoulder isn't a big problem.
I think we have some tricky coach speak as well. Defensive coordinator Ron Collins of Boise said that they were going to try to stop the run, let Chang get his yards. You know what? They're taking away Chang right now.
Timeout called by Boise State.
Trevor. How many times have I told you? Don't believe everything you hear.
Well, Dan Hawkins' team has a 4-point lead over Hawaii early in the second quarter.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Snickers. Snickers handles the hunger of the NFL.
Boise State with a 7-3 lead over Hawaii. Broncos ranked 14 or 15th and 13th in the BCS standings. They've had 2 close calls this year. Against Tulsa, had to score 10 points in the final 90 seconds. They beat BYU here at home by 1 point. In fact, they trailed in 5 of their 7 games this year, 3 times in the second half.
And that's a good sign of respect for Boise State, that coaches across the country have continued to move them up in the polls, even though they've been in some tight games against opponents that people think were not that tough.
And I think Friday nights has helped them. This is their 3rd time on Friday Night Football this year, and coaches around the country watch this as they're getting ready for their Saturday games. So they see what Boise State can do, and they vote them 15th.
They certainly like playing on national television. They are 12-0 when their games are on either ESPN or ESPN2. Rushing touchdown for Jared Zabransky. And Boise State has a first down at the Hawaii 41-yard line. Marks on the sweep. Trying to look for running room. Taken down at the 40-yard line. Gain of 1 before Louis Funga, I should say, makes the tackle.
Yeah, guys, we've talked about Dan Hawkins and what he does at this program, and his being a hot coaching prospect. Guys have left Boise State in the past to go on to other places. Houston Nutt went to Arkansas. Dirk Cutter went to Arizona State. But you have to believe that the program will be in good shape, even if Dan Hawkins eventually leaves Boise State.
Inside handoff. And not a lot of running room there for Jones, who dropped the pass earlier. Minimal gain on the play. Kenny Patton on the stop, so it brings up 3rd down and long.
Well, they've done exceptionally well under Hawkins. He's 40-6 since he's become head coach here. Now, what he's trying to do is build this program brick by brick. He's got the winning. They're winning games. He considers that the walls and the ceiling. The foundation, however, he still considers to be inadequate to his standards. That foundation, the facilities, the financial contributions, and he's working now to get those up to his standards.
And we've asked him about that, and he said, well, there's a lot of talk right now. Not a lot of action. As the ball is pulled in by Dryzen James inside the 25. Down to the 22-yard line, a 17-yard gain.
You want action? Dryzen James on a slant route across the middle. He'll give you a little action. He is so good after he catches the ball.
Now he's going to come across from left to right. He's going to flash. There he is. And as he comes across, Zabransky hits him in stride and allows those yards after the catch.
Well, one of the things I wanted to point out was Chris Peterson. He's part of that foundation. He's such a great offensive coordinator, and he should be in line to be the next head coach here.
Hellman-Dollar trying to power forward, and he gets banged down to the 16-yard line. A 6-yard gain on the play. Leonard Peters on the stop. Funga also down here for Hawaii.
Well, that foundation having to do, when you talk about the coaching staff, facilities, they've got now the architectural drawings for an upgrade to the stadium, skyboxes, luxury suites. They're coming up with a feasibility study that'll be finished in about 2 weeks. But then they have to get the money. And that's what Dan Hawkins is talking about. We've got drawings, we've got talk, but the next step is let's fund this thing.
2nd down and 4 for a Hawkins team, and Marks straight ahead. Down to the 3-yard line. Peters again the stop. 8-yard pickup. Marks averages about 5 yards per carry, and he's been getting 7 or 8 every time he touches it.
Well, he'll probably come out now because Marks usually runs the ball from the 20 to the 20. And then they turn it over to Antoine Carter. Carter usually comes in and pounds into the end zone.
He's got 6 touchdowns on the season. Marks does not have a rushing touchdown, so that further advances that story. Right now they got 2 fullbacks in the game, Lau and Hellman-Dollar. First down and goal. It's Hellman-Dollar. And Hellman-Dollar is finally dropped inside the 3-yard line. Are you guys surprised that Boise State is pounding the football instead of trying to throw it downfield?
Yeah, I'm surprised Hellman-Dollar is in down there on the goal line, too. I mean, they play so many different guys.
They do, and each guy has his own role. Hellmann-Dollar is a pounder. He's not a guy that's going to go out into space, but he's a guy that on the goal line will drag defenders with him.
87 rushing yards for Boise State. On second down, Hellmann-Dollar again. Put at the line and driven to the floor. Big hit by Ikaika Kernan, and boy, they are glad to have him back. He's been out with an ankle injury the last couple of games. The team leader in tackles last year for the Warriors.
Yeah, Ikaika Kernan's had an ankle, a hamstring, and he's been one of the healthier guys they've had on their defense. So many guys have been banged up for them.
But now, big third down.
Hawaii only has 6 starters remaining from the beginning of the season because of injuries. Third down and goal. Hellmann-Dollar diving and scoring. Touchdown, Boise State. And another injured Hawaii player.
Well, Hellmann-Dollar's job, pounded in there. This is 3 straight carries for him. He hits Elimimian, the cornerback, as he comes through. Elimimian can't slow him down, but that was an awkward angle for Elimimian's head as he came through.
Hamstring, ankle, and something new for Elimimian, their best cornerback. Boise State, 10-point lead, 2 rushing touchdowns. And we'll have the PAT following a timeout as they continue to look at Elimimian.
ESPN puts the spotlight on the highlight with ESPN 25 The Book. Available now.
Halloween, let Radio Shack help keep your family safe and get 2 free 9-volt batteries for your comfortable jeans.
Abraham Elimimian, the top cornerback for Hawaii, shaken up on the touchdown by Hellmann-Dollar. Now Tyler Jones on for the extra point. A wax leading scorer trying to tack on another one and stretch Boise State's lead to 11. 14-3 now. Home team with just over 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. Get out of the sideline. It's debate time. Rob Stone.
That's right, Dave. You know, Super Tuesday just a few days away, but you can't vote before you debate. So it's time now for our Friday night debates. And Boise State is off to their best start in school history. They have 22 straight WAC wins and 23 consecutive victories at home. So, guys, we begin with you, Trev. Tonight's question, will Dan Hawkins still be at Boise State 2 years from now?
I think he will. I think he will because he has said it's not about money, it's about building the program. And the things that he wants built are in motion now. The funding for the stadium improvements, for the facilities improvements, the study for feasibility will be in 2 weeks. They will then know what the price the skybox is at, what the market will bear. At that point, they can then go out and get money from business people, get money from boosters. What he wants to see is progress. Right now, the progress is they've got the architecture, they've got the feasibility study coming in. The next step will be getting the money, and as long as that happens in succession, you will have him stay.
All right, we'll get to Rod after. Boise State tries an onside kick, and they recover at the 47-yard line. More trickery for Boise State as Corey Hall comes up with the onside kick recovery.
Oh, we got to see that again. So much for the debate. Let's go back to this thing.
Well, Dan Hawkins doesn't play not to lose. He doesn't play it safe. He plays to win. And so it's just, this is surprise onside middle. That's what this is called. They do that when they see the front line of the kickoff return team back out of there too fast. They saw that in their last kickoff, and so they did surprise onside middle.
Now watch the guy who comes up with it. He always has his nose around the football. Corey Hall, right there.
And note that he shields the defense away with his body for it to go 10 yards.
So Zabransky going to work again and going deep. And the pass is pulled in just inside the 30-yard line. That time, Quentin Jones hangs on. All right, with this going on, Rod, your turn to get in on the debate. Will Dan Hawkins be here in 2 years?
You got to be kidding me, right? I mean, I don't want to talk about the debate. I mean, Hawkins is out there coaching, showing you why he's a great coach. And the question is ridiculous anyway. I mean, let him coach. Let's just enjoy him. What's the point now?
You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let him do his thing.
Well, the truck's still going to vote, so I guess that's your point. And we'll see what the truck comes up with. His marks is inside the 15 and inside the 10. Finally pushed out of play at the 7-yard line by Leonard Peters. 20-yard rush for Lee Marks. Dan Hawks is working it tonight. And boy, we've seen a lot of different things on offense and obviously some trickery on special teams.
Well, he knew we were going to be debating that point at that time, so he dialed it up, started coaching so we'd get off the question. So we're off the question, let him do his thing.
And that was right, Rod. You mentioned earlier that pacing is a big deal, and the pacing was slow early in the game, but man, they have severely picked up the pace this drive.
Schools are looking, though, for a young guy who's got energy, which he has, who has an imagination, which he has. There'll be a lot of schools coming after him in the offseason. A first down and goal. It's Helmendahler to the 1-yard line, looking for his second rushing touchdown of the night. Down to the 1 of about 6.
That sounded like you were engaging in the debate there.
A little bit. Okay. Adding a little bit onto that.
Well, you might get the vote from the truck then.
Well, he is a hot commodity to build a team that wins as much as Boise does when you don't have the eye candy facilities to attract the top recruits. Imagine if you do have the top facilities to attract the top recruits, the guys you'd be able to get.
What did he say? Bigger is not better. Better is better.
On second and goal, Zabransky trying to get Pater. They're going to say he's shy of the goal line. So it'll bring up third down and goal. Good stop by the middle linebacker, Watson Ho'ohuli.
Well, he talks about wanting to get that receiver that's 6'4" and 220 pounds and runs a 4.4 40. He doesn't get that guy, but he gets the guy that's small and runs a 4.4 40. Then he gets a guy that's tall but is slower, and he finds ways to use them productively with their individual capabilities.
Zabransky again. Touchdown! They are the #1 scoring offense in the country. Two rushing touchdowns for Zabransky in the game, 9 on the season. Tyler Jones on for his third PAT. And Boise State trailing 3-0 early in the game, has a 21-3 lead. However, a penalty flag is down. Bill Athen, our referee, trying to sort things out. Apparently against Hawaii, as both teams have gone to their respective sidelines.
Running into the kicker. That penalty is declined. The extra point is good.
Oh, he gets his foot up in the air, and yeah, they won't take that penalty. They'll leave the points on the board, kick it off, continue on.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Ford. 6 all-new vehicles, each built for the road ahead.
The question once again for our Friday night debate, will Dan Hawkins be here 2 years from now? Trevor says yes. Rod says I don't care. The truck
Not exactly.
says Rod wins.
Rod's right.
Well,
Rod's right.
It's like if you're having a real debate and a streaker were to occur between Bush and Kerry, you just, I mean, you know, that's it. I mean, you just can't debate.
Well, you know, and you're right. I mean, he's coaching like crazy right now, and things are going the way he wants it. Let's let him have his joy. He deserves it.
Ferguson takes a knee. What's interesting, guys, is we thought coming into the game, passing. Well, we've had rushing. Hawaii's had more success running than passing, and Boise State has 3 rushing touchdowns.
That's what really surprises me in this game. I expected Boise to put up a lot of points, and they have. But it surprises me that Hawaii has been so unproductive offensively.
Well, part of it, as we've talked about earlier, Timmy Chang and his receivers have not been on the same page. They've misread coverages, so we've had some balls overthrown. And Chang, I think that non-throwing shoulder might be more of a problem than we really understand.
He's just 2 for his last 8, 5 of 14 for 37 yards in the night. And here's Kali'i Kipi hammering forward to the 26-yard line. 6-yard pickup on the play. We've got an injury update. Here's Rob.
Well, we already said Hawaii was thin on the defense. They're going to be thinner for it at least this first half. Elimimian, he came out, he told the staff he had his bell rung. They put ice on the base of his neck. He's out for the first half. They're going to further evaluate him in the locker room at halftime.
And that is very bad for Hawaii. He is their best cover guy, the guy who can lock down at least one wide receiver. At least one wide receiver.
Got hurt, as you saw, when Helmendaler plowed into him on that touchdown earlier. On 2nd and 5, another running play. This time it's Brewster, and he is going to get the first down, but a flag flies in at the 25-yard line in the area of offensive holding.
Yeah, they're trying to run the ball to the side where there's man-to-man coverage, figuring that if the secondary support is run off, they can get a big play.
Holding, number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 2nd down.
Tala Acera, sophomore left tackle.
And that hair, in the Polynesian culture, positive energy comes from thick locks of hair, and so you'll see a lot of guys have those thick locks of hair.
What happens if somebody grabs it on the field? You just grab that and pull a guy.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be positive energy. They'll treat that like a jersey in that case. In other words, if it would have been holding if you grab the jersey, it'll be holding if you grab the hair. If it's just on a tackle, it wouldn't be holding if you grab the hair.
2nd down and 14. The ball just a hair past the 15-yard line. Sorry.
Dave.
Here's Chang. Has his 6th completion. And a nice move after the catch by Jason Rivers, his 3rd grab, and he's out near the marker at the 29-yard line. 12-yard gain. Andy Avalos, preseason WAC Defensive Player of the Year with the tackle. 191 yards to go to break Ty Detmer's NCAA career passing mark. 19 straight days of football on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. This is day 2, and boy, day 1 was pretty good. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech was a tremendous game. Hokies came back to win in the 4th quarter last night on ESPN. This is a big 3rd down for Hawaii. Got to get some positive momentum. Here comes the blitz, and Chang gets it away complete. Rivers with the grab and a first down to the 41-yard line, pushed out by Alexander. 13-yard gain.
That's just a timing route. And all Chang did was wait for his receiver to stop. He threw the ball before he turned around. Watch Rivers here. He'll go. The ball is thrown before he turns around. Turns around. Oh, there's the ball right there.
Yeah, and Alexander's there. The ball gets there so fast, even Gerald Alexander is surprised. 7-man blitz that time. 7 men rushed Chang.
4 catches for Rivers, who had 25 in the season coming in. They hand it off to Kali'i Kipi, and Boise State is not fooled. Minimal gain on the play. That front 4 for Boise State was in the backfield when the ball was handed off. Julius Roberts, 3-year starter, first-team All-WAC last year, made the stop.
A couple of things about the shotgun formation. One, it limits the amount of running game that you have. You don't typically have a lead back. Second thing, it can hurt quarterbacks. I mean, NFL scouts look at Timmy Chang and they say, well, you know, he's not under center a lot. We don't know if he can drop and read coverages at the same time because he's always in the shotgun looking downfield.
Play clock at 3, 2nd and 9. Chang being pressured. Kali'i Kipi dropped immediately by Avalos. They lose yardage on that play.
The Corey Hall blitz. This is the 2nd play in 3 that Boise has brought pressure. Chang read the blitz, dumped it off to Kali'i Kipi, but Avalos was right there, right on top of it. Good coordination between the pressure and the coverage. This pair of linebackers is probably the best in the Western Athletic Conference. Very active playmakers.
3rd and 14. As we near the 5-minute mark in the first half. Chang. And a screen to Kali'i Kipi. And there he goes down the near sideline to the 35-yard line. Avalos finally on the stop. But a great call on 3rd and 14. It picks up 27 yards.
Yeah, June Jones outsmarted them this time. I mean, the pressure's going to come from here. They know it, and then you're going to get all the blocking out here, and that's where your screen goes. I mean, they see it right off the bat. There you see the pressure. They let it come, and look at all the blockers they have there.
There's 3 guys on one right there. That poor guy is in a real bad way. He gets buried.
And because they didn't have Brewster in the game, maybe Boise State wasn't thinking about the screen because Kali'i Kipi's 280 pounds and only has a handful of catches on the year. First down. Here's Brewster on the carry, and he fumbles the ball, and then it's kicked. And no signal yet as they scratch, claw, eye gouge under the pile, and it's going to be Hawaii football. As Brewster got it back. That thing got kicked into the air. And there's an injured Hawaii offensive lineman now. That is the right guard, Uriah Moenoa.
Well, it gets kicked by 66, Brandon Eaton. As the ball comes out, watch 66 come into the picture, and his foot right there is what kicks it. And that's very surprising with all those blue jerseys that a white jersey comes up with it.
Another injury for Hawaii, this time on the offensive side of the ball. Boise State by 18 points. Moenoa banged up, starting right guard, senior from Honolulu. So Phil Kaufman, another senior, will come into the game. Left hamstring injury for Moenoa. 2nd and 14 for Chang, who has 8 completions, 17 attempts, less than 60 yards passing. Penalty flag down, never got the playoff. Somebody moved.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Number 66, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
It's Brandon Eaton, the right tackle. Let's take a look at our ESPN2 game track. Hawaii got off to a 3-0 lead. I'll do that in a little bit. And then Boise State bounced back and leads by 18 points late in the first half.
Yeah, Timmy Chang came in needing 241. He's now 157 away. And Boise State has been on the ground.
And it's been Halloween trickery. Great ball fakes from Zabransky.
2 touchdowns for Zabransky. Running play to Kali'i Kipi. Keeps the feet moving. Look at him push the defender aside and get to the 37, and he coughed it up. And Boise State has it. Little too much effort, and it's recovered by Mike Williams.
Well, he just plowed straight ahead. And the thing is, his game is just to carry everybody with him. But the problem is that everybody is on top of him before he goes down. And they were stripping at the ball. Look at him plow straight ahead. Straight ahead, runs right over guys. That's Andy Avalos, a linebacker. But Kabong comes in and strips the ball out.
Well, everybody tries to strip the football these days. And it's talked about, it's coached in practice. It's a key for every defense.
Kali'i Kipi's at a disadvantage with that, Rod, just because he's up longer for more defensive players to get there and attempt that strip.
First down from the Boise State 40-yard line. And a play fake for Zabransky. He's got a man open. Going for Acree. Incomplete. Actually, he had somebody underneath. Had a receiver underneath, but missed him, and instead tried to go deep and couldn't hit Acree. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio. Reese, what do you got for us coming up at the half?
Well, coming up at half, Trev and Mark will be here among the Magnificent Seven, the undefeated teams, 5 of them on the road. We'll talk about those challenges and who among them might come up short. We'll also, in our Friday tailgate, take you down to Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss getting ready for Auburn.
Guys, where's Rob Stone?
I think he's only been on like twice.
2 times. He questions my ability to do math. He's the invisible man. What's going on?
He's on twice. Get Rob Stone up.
You know what? He made fun of Trev's match. He does it again. It's 2 more times, and he'll be on next time I do a game.
Here's Zabransky keeping it, and no gain on that play. Although we did have a soccer-type play earlier on the fumble when the ball was kicked in the air, which Rob could appreciate.
He played soccer at Colgate University.
So Rob and Trev going at it a little bit. I don't know what that's all about. Everybody's taking shots at Trev these days.
Trev, that's right.
Urban Meyer, the Utah fans. Wow.
Wyatt Sexton, quarterback for Florida State, took a shot at him after the game.
Pick on Trev month.
Big target on his back.
You think he cares? 3rd down and 9. Zabransky in the shotgun. And Zabransky being pressured. And does well to actually pick up some yardage. However, Boise State will still punt the football.
Well, you better not mess with Ron, because he'll bend it like Beckham right into Trev.
I think Rob has some answers as to why Trev is taking so much heat. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious Trev is scared of me. I mean, look at me, 5'9", 155. You don't mess with me, but I made a little wise comment to Trev yesterday when we were interviewing Timmy Chang. We said, hey, Chang, he averages this many passing yards. Boise State allows this many passing yards. Do the math that even Trev could handle, math-wise. And you can figure it out. He's going to set the record. And apparently those Nebraska boys get a little testy when you question their math skills.
Here's Chad Owens on the return, and Boise State is all over it. They take him down to the 16-yard line. Andy Avalos in there on special teams. Starting linebacker makes the tackle.
So that's why Rob's been hiding from Trev.
Well, you know, there's a lot of places that he can hide, actually. Many choices. All the Trevs are getting it up on you, Rob. I'm sorry.
He can probably outrun both of them.
Yes, he can.
Certainly the one upstairs.
Yeah, well, got to the buffet line.
1st down at the Hawaii 17. Chang with time. Has it complete. His favorite target tonight, Jason Rivers. And Rivers finally stacked up after an 8-yard pickup. Avalos leading the charge. Handful of grabs for Jason Rivers. And they're doing a pretty good job on Chad Owens. We talked with Gabe Franklin yesterday, as you see the numbers on Chang so far. And Franklin has done a good job shutting down Owens.
Well, he's had some help, too. They just have not given Chang anything down the field. Everything's been timing routes, quick outs, quick slants, but nothing down the field.
Pomine has been quiet as well. 2nd and 2. Again, a short pass, and here's Owens with a 1st down catch. Better hang on to the ball, and he gets to the 40-yard line. Gain of 15 of the play. Marty Tadman on the stop.
You don't need to go long down the field if your receiver can give you a little bit of rack. Run after the catch. And watch Owens here. He'll slip 3 or 4 would-be tacklers and get another 8 yards, 10 yards after he caught that ball.
And note the attempt at the strip. He held on to it.
134 yards to go for Chang, who steps up and slings downfield for Welch. Broken up at the last second by Tadman. Nice play.
Boy, the guy that forced that play, Andy Avalos on the blitz. He came right up the middle, got right into Chang's face. Chang didn't have the time to throw that ball the way he wanted to. It came out a bit early, and that's why it didn't work.
Here's what you're talking about. Avalos in the middle of your screen here, bringing the pressure inside. Picks his gap, comes unobstructed right in there.
We've been calling his name all night long. On 2nd down, Chang with his 22nd pass of the night, and it's knocked away. Good play by free safety Cam Hall. With more on Avalos, let's go to Rob Stone.
Dave, he is an enforcer on and off the field. Hang with me, we got a theme here. He's working on his master's in criminal justice. His favorite show is Cops. He worked in a jail this summer. You with me, right? And every Monday he takes part in an internship program with the local sheriff's office, which includes some ride-alongs. Not a bad guy to call in for a little backup help.
And a terrific player to boot. First team all WAC last year, on his way to being first team this year. Hawaii 3 for 8 on 3rd down. And Chang's pass short, and Avalos pushed Owens into the official, but no flag down. That should have been a penalty.
A nice job by the Boise State defense. They're doubling the outside receivers, taking away that from Chang, and then playing good man coverage on the inside receivers.
And pressure by number 92, defensive end Julius Roberts. He came from the right side. That is in the vision of Chang. He beat the tackle, Brandon Eaton, and Chang could see that, had to deliver the ball early. Timing is disrupted.
4th punt of the night for Kurt Milne. Just gets it away as Avalos almost blocked it. Smith gets away from one man. And then finally spilled at the 35-yard line. 11-yard return after a 33-yard punt. Boise State by 18.
Imagine a place where dynamic learning and a picturesque setting come together. Experience award-winning faculty, state-of-the-art technology, and the very best in academic programs. Explore a vibrant capital.
Tim Chang, 107 yards passing. Coming into today, needed 241 to break Ty Detmer's NCAA career passing record. So Boise State has shut down Chang in his individual quest. Needs 134 yards now to become the NCAA's all-time pass leader. However, Hawaii has been unable to thwart Boise State's team quest of staying undefeated, as here's another pass play downfield as Beatty pulls it in at the 45-yard line. 20-yard pickup for the Broncos.
How about Chris Peterson? I mean, he's not content to sit on that lead. 40 seconds, he's trying to get another score before the half. There he is. Here's the offensive coordinator.
There's Zabransky to the air again. And Acree leveled as he makes the grab, but he did well to hang on very close to the first down marker at the 36-yard line. Good hit by Landon Kafensis, backup safety. Timeout. Boise State, 1 remaining for the Broncos. Dan Hawkins' team leading by 18 points, looking for more with 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Tomorrow, regional action on ABC, 3:30 Eastern, Michigan State and number 11 Michigan. 9th-ranked Texas against Colorado. Number 5, Florida State and Maryland. And then on the West Coast only at 4 Pacific time, top-ranked USC against Washington State.
And Michigan State is resurgent now. Their quarterback, Drew Stanton, is now healthy. And Michigan State leads the Big Ten in total offense since the start of Big Ten play, once the non-conference games are over. And so John L. Smith has that offense clicking on all cylinders.
So you like Michigan State against Michigan in the Big House, you're saying?
Actually, I think Michigan in the Big House. But at the beginning...
But anywhere else you take them.
That's right. But Michigan State started slowly because they had injury problems at quarterback. With Stanton back, those problems are resolved. But Michigan is still Michigan.
And they're getting better each game with those freshmen quarterback and running back. Mike Hart, he's making a name for himself right now. True freshman tailback for Michigan. Zabransky flushed out of the pocket. And he's able to get out of play as he picks up the first down. So the clock stops with 7 seconds remaining. Let's see if Boise State goes for 3 or goes to the end zone. Now, speaking of first-year impact players, Zabransky is one of them. And the guy at the top, a Heisman candidate, freshman Adrian Peterson.
Well, Peterson, Kenny, and Zabransky, they all added something special to their teams. Zabransky brought mobility to the quarterback spot. Peterson, he brought toughness to the Oklahoma offense. And Chad Henne, he brought some stability to that Michigan offense that was going to be reeling after Mac Gutierrez couldn't take the snap to start the season for them.
Usually when you think of Michigan, you don't think of a true freshman at quarterback and at running back. Here's Acree pulling in and trying to get out of play, and he does with 3 seconds left. Well, this week, Rod, in your column at ESPN.com, you talked about how more freshmen are getting a chance to play in college football these days. Why do you guys think that is?
Well, it's a necessity. I mean, I think with the 85 scholarship limit, with the fact that you have injuries, longer seasons, all of these things forces coaches to really turn to the youngsters maybe sooner than they want.
And Michael Hart at running back. So Michigan has added that dimension of a running game that has allowed Chad Henne to operate without having the defenses all over it.
Well, Boise State is the second youngest team in the country. A lot of freshmen and sophomores. Here's a senior, Tyler Jones. Instead, it's a fake. Jeff Carpenter looking to throw. There's a gamble that does not pay off because there's no time remaining. However, a penalty flag is down. That's an interesting call. Instead of going for the sure 3, considering how good Jones has been kicking field goals, only 2 misses in 17 attempts. They try a fake knowing that they have to get a touchdown or the half is over.
But that's going for the jugular. That's what Dan Hawkins does. He doesn't play not to lose. He doesn't play to allow your mistakes to give Boise the win. He goes for the win on every play.
Defense, number 37.
Well, there's a gift.
That results in a first down, and we will play 1 untimed down.
And you know that is killing June Jones because that just gives Boise State a chance to actually kick it now.
Yeah, you see they're offsides to the right side there. It looks like Elamimian, who's back in the ball game, and Boise State gets bailed out. I mean, they get a chance to get the 3 points now that they were passing up on that fake field goal.
Think he'll fake it again?
Not a chance.
47-yard long for Tyler Jones, who is tied for first in the country in field goals made. He's hit 15 out of 17. This will be a 34-yard attempt.
You know, and I'm not sure you needed that fake field goal. That's one that I probably would have saved for another time when it might make some sense. I mean, you're up 18 points, 3 seconds to go in the half. Why not save that for another game?
Yeah, right. I agree with you. I agree with you. And the way their defense is playing, the way their offense is playing, the 4 points might not be critical.
Here they kick it. And Jones hits it from 34 yards away. Well, Dan Hawkins said bigger isn't better. Better is better. And right now, Boise State 21 points better than Hawaii. 24-3, the 15th ranked Broncos lead as we go to the studio and Reese Davis.
So Boise State halfway toward.
Boise State looking to remain unbeaten. They have a 3-touchdown lead as we're set for the third quarter over Hawaii. We've been mentioning Timmy Chang's name all day. He is just 134 yards shy of eclipsing Ty Detmer's career passing yardage mark. It's been an interesting road through his life. Timmy Chang, for his long and winding road to success. His heritage, really a cocktail of Hawaiian, English, Irish, Puerto Rican, Spanish, and Chinese. The Asian American community on the mainland, they scour for hints of his exploits and have made him a bit of a cult hero in that community. And 2 o'clock today, in all the sports bars around Hawaii, the island's favorite son sold out the prime seats. People in Hawaii are watching Timmy Chang, but guys, he's not having a Timmy Chang-esque evening so far.
No, he's not, Rob. 107 yards passing is a first half low this season for Chang. Onabokun taking it out past the 15 and finally dragged out of play at the 22-yard line. Boise State leading 24-3, and here comes the Bronco offense again. And guys, this game's not over by any means. It's a 21-point lead. Hawaii can score, but does the focus shift a little bit now from let's not let Chang be the guy, or let's not let us be the team that gives up the record to a Chang here tonight?
I don't know. I think they had a pretty good plan coming in. I think you're going to see both teams adjust in the second half. Boise State's going to have to keep bringing the pressure, still mix up the man in the zone that they have, but you got to move your receivers if you're Hawaii. You can't just let them line up and get covered at the line of scrimmage.
And June Jones knows how to do that. I don't think there's any way Boise will stop Chang from getting the record tonight if Chang stays healthy.
First down, Boise State from the 21-yard line. And a running play out past the 30. And McCarty is to the 35-yard line. Lost the ball on the play, but they're going to say that he was down. 15-yard gain on the play as we look at our ESPN2 game track.
Well, it started off like it looked like it was going to be a good night for Timmy Chang, but then things went awry. Passes a little bit high, tight coverage, and then the running game took over for Boise State.
And the running game kept Chang off the field. They had 3 rushing touchdowns, Boise did, in the first half, and part of that is to limit Chang's opportunities.
Here's Zabransky on the option. Pitches at the last second to Marks. And it works out for about 6 yards before Marks gets out of play.
And the price was paid that time by Zabransky. He waited till the very last second. Linebacker Chad Kapanui stuck his face mask right under Zabransky's chin and made him pay for that. Now, as he comes down the line, he waits until the very last second and boom! That is a price to be paid for those yards.
He got planted that time. He's a tough kid. 2nd and 4. Marks again. A little misdirection, and they trip him up. Ikaika Kernan with another play. He's played well in his return after missing the last 2 games due to an ankle injury. No gain on the play.
Well, considering how banged up this Hawaii defense has been, I think they've played pretty decently. They got a lot of backups out there, a lot of guys playing hurt, and you take away the onside kick that gave them the short field, the end of the second half field goal. I mean, they haven't given up that much, really.
Over 140 rushing yards for Boise State as Dryzen James pulls it in past the 49-yard line. First down, Ray Bass on the stop.
And Boise content to get the small gains, run the ball, pound the ball. On 3rd down, throw just over the yardage to get the first down. Keep the clock running, keep Chang off the field. But watch Boise as they suck up that Hawaii defense. They'll take more shots all the way down the field.
Some of the guys not here for Hawaii. Tanavusaf Moy. Very good.
Wow.
That was impressive.
Thank you for the approval.
I'll just let you say who makes the tackle, although nobody's going to make the tackle until about the 29-yard line. That's where Quentin Jones is brought down by Patton, and that's an easy one to say.
Well, Quentin Jones is playing running back, but he's an athlete that could play receiver. He's got a burst of speed, might be the fastest guy on the team.
Pick your hole. Pick your hole.
And look at him burst. He makes the cut, and right now he's at full speed. And once he gets into the secondary, he doesn't, it's not a good thing if you're Hawaii.
First down to the 29. Boise State, pretty balanced offense, but they've dominated so far tonight because of the run game. But here's a pass play, jailbreak, and James tripped up. Maybe his own man tripped him up at the 15-yard line. Aaron College, the left tackle, was down there, and yeah, that's what happened. He tripped up James on the play.
And when these guys get rolling, they have fun. We saw Zabransky with a smile on his face. We look at College here, trips up Dryzen James, number 73. Now he's right here. He's going to throw that block on Patton, gets him out of the way, but then actually trips up James. But they both get up with a smile on their face because they are having a ball.
And we asked the Boise State coaches who is the best offensive player, and offensive coordinator Chris Peterson says it might be Darren College, the left tackle. Elmendaler pounding inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Kapanui on the stop, but a 7-yard pickup.
Well, you talk about Boise having a lot of little guys running all over the place. They have some manly, beastly studs on this team, too, where they need them. And one of those guys, Darren College at left tackle. If you need a stud on the offensive line, and you do, left tackle's where you want him to protect the quarterback's blind side.
Look at the total yards. Boise State, 176 rushing, 123 through the air. And here's another running play as Marks is twirled down at the line of scrimmage. Good play by defensive end Ikaika Alama Francis, former Hawaii basketball player turned football standout.
But he wasn't supposed to get an awful lot of time out there, except for the fact that Mel Purcell is banged up and couldn't go tonight. Purcell, hamstring, bruised sternum. He's out on the field now. They're trying to get anybody out there who can walk.
Yeah, exactly. They've had so many injuries on defense. They've lost 5 starters from the beginning of the year. Got a chance, though, to get perhaps a moral victory here in 3rd down as the shovel pass drills Marks right in the face. That's an incomplete pass. And it's 4th down. But maybe Dan Hawkins will go for it. Although, no, he's going to bring Zabransky off the field. You never know when he's going to kick or when he's going to go. But here he's going to kick.
We don't even know now. We think he's going to kick.
Right,
they faked it at the end of the 2nd quarter.
They faked it when the only way that they're going to be able to do anything was score on a 25-yard pass. There was no time left, so had they completed a pass past the first down marker, it wouldn't have mattered. There'd been no time left.
What did he tell us yesterday? Taking chances is what it's all about, and that's what life is all about.
Now here they don't take a chance. They go for the easy 24-yard field goal attempt, and Tyler Jones bangs it through. 27-3, Boise State. 11 to go in the third.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Snickers. Snickers handles the hunger of the NFL.
Well, here's the question, guys. Zabransky has a couple of rushing touchdowns and has looked good through the air as well, on his way to another 200-yard passing day as he outplayed Tim Chang so far in this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly he has. I mean, he hasn't had to be under the strain and pressure of trying to bring his team back or anything. They've been in front. He's run the ball well. He's completed passes when he had to. And he's got the better squad going right now.
Well, in the first half, Hawaii has taken what Boise's defense has given. They've thrown it 23 times, run it 13. Keep in mind that June Jones has been known to throw the ball 70, 75, 80 times a game. He won't even run it sometimes. I mean, he'll have 1 or 2 runs in an entire game. But at this point, I think Hawaii's got to forget the take what they give you mentality and let Chang be turned loose.
Boise State has given up a lot of deep passes this year for touchdowns, but not tonight. Another good kickoff by Tyler Jones. Ferguson takes a knee, and Tim Chang with 134 yards to go to break Ty Detmer's career NCAA passing mark. Retake the field.
Well, you talked about that comparison. Zabransky, more passing yards, more rushing yards than Timmy Chang. You don't expect Chang to run with it too much, but you certainly expect him to put up more passing yards.
Yeah, and Zabransky, look at him. He's happy. He's not tense at all. It's like he's in his backyard playing with his brother.
He's up by 24 points. He should be happy.
And he's that way all the time. I mean, that's just his demeanor.
He's like that in warm-ups, doing whatever kind of dance that was.
That was the potato masher. The monster mash, Halloween.
First down at the Hawaii 27-yard line, and that pass is intercepted. What a play! How about that catch by Gabe Franklin?
And Timmy Chang got greedy, and he forced it. He had another choice out there. He elected to go for the more difficult throw. 2 receivers out here. The right throw, right read is the outside throw to Kamini, but instead he tries to stick it inside, and he gets burned.
And he's now 2 interceptions shy of tying the NCAA record for interceptions in a career.
Well, Gabe Franklin baited him. He played it perfectly. As a corner, when you're playing an underneath zone, you always want to force the quarterback to throw short. And if he wants to take the deeper throw, you take it away from him.
Here goes Boise State with good field position, play action. Zabransky with tons of time. And his pass is broken up at the last second. Good play defensively by Kafensis. Garrett Zabransky always smiling, very loose, even in warm-ups.
And there's no music. He's just got it going internally.
Well, the Boise State coaches say that they lose warm-ups, but they're not talking about the dances they do in warm-ups. They win those.
They say that because their players don't terrify opposing coaches and players just by looking at their physique.
I think when they're playing BYU that Gary Croton was standing there watching warm-ups, and the Boise State coaches were saying, I hope he thinks we can't play. Second down and 10. At the 37-yard line, another play action. And Zabransky, great throw as Acree makes the grab. Acree inside the 10 and finally spilled at the 7-yard line by Peters. How about Zabransky there for 30 yards?
Zabransky made that happen with his feet, his pocket presence. He bought a little time, moved just enough to stick this ball. Watch it. He gets a little pressure, feels it, steps up, rolls out, throws on the move.
And Acree's been quiet today. Number 89, right of your screen. That's Kenny Patton, number 24. Acree turns him around not once, but twice for good measure. And then Patton goes to the ground. Acree just a masterful man route.
From the 7-yard line. First down and goal. Helmendalen. plows to the 4 for 3 yards. Mel Purcell on the stop. Already a touchdown for Helmandaler. 3 rushing scores for Boise State. No TD passes in this game for either team. And they came into this game, both teams, in the top 15 in passing offense.
Well, take a look at those yards. Boise State 330. And as you mentioned, most of that on the ground. They haven't had to air it out like they normally do.
As we said earlier, they played from behind a lot this year, have not blown out a lot of teams like they did last year. The coaches think they're a better team this year. And so far, the record shows it as Helmandaler gets in for a second touchdown of the night. Chang's interception to Franklin sets up another Boise State score. Tyler Jones on for the PAT. Boise State trying to make it 19 straight wins. That's the longest winning streak in the country. And Helmandaler's 2 touchdowns have been a big help tonight.
It will challenge you. It will consume you. Mortal Kombat Deception. Online for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Rated mature.
High-performance headlights from Sylvania. See the world in a new light.
34 unanswered points for this tight, fun-loving group here at Boise State. Jared Zabransky having a terrific game so far. A couple of rushing touchdowns for him. And 153 yards through the air. Another booming kickoff by Jones. Ferguson has to take a seat. Hawaii will start from its 20-yard line. Tim Chang's only pass of the second half picked off. 11 of 24, 170 yards. Still needs 134 yards to break Ty Detmer's NCAA career passing record.
Well, he's got to make smarter decisions than he did the last time he came on the field when he got a little greedy and tried to stick a ball in there into double coverage.
That was a knock on him earlier in his career. Had 42 interceptions the last 2 years combined. That pick on the last series, his 4th of this season. And Chang's pass is incomplete. Welch, the intended receiver, could not handle it along the sideline.
Well, you know, you just don't waltz into freezing cold Boise Stadium and pick up a National Collegiate Association record. They aren't going to give it to you, and it's been a tough night for Timmy Chang.
It has been a tough night, and he's known for his decision-making and accuracy. We saw on that interception a bad decision. We saw on that last pass, overthrown high, lack of accuracy. This is not the Timmy Chang that they've seen this year prior to this.
He's 2 interceptions shy of a record that he hoped he would not set tonight. Most interceptions in a career. As that shovel pass is nearly picked off. It got tipped at the line. Alex Guerrero broke it up at the line. Nicely done.
I'll give Ron Collins, the defensive coordinator at Boise State, a lot of credit. I mean, he's really mixed things up here. He's played man, he's played zone, he's played a combination of man and zone, and he's done something most teams haven't been able to do. He's gotten pressure on Timmy Chang.
And he's done it without a lot of blitzing. The big key to this has been whether it's man or zone. The defensive backs and linebackers have played very close to the receivers as they run their routes.
The Warriors are 3 for 9 on 3rd down. It's a screen, and it's only going to get about 4 yards.
Well, now, why do you do that?
Well, yeah, you can't run that against that kind of man coverage. You got press coverage. You can't run a screen because the guy's just going to go right with the receiver.
I mean, that's the kind of play you call when you don't believe your quarterback can hit a pass down the field. Chang can. He just has to get uncorked. He's kind of like a batter.
Well, June is telling him right there, you got to check out of that one. You can't run that play against that press coverage.
He's like a batter that just has got to swing his way out of a slump.
Milne gets it away. Austin Smith, who had a return of over 40 yards in the first half, past midfield before he's finally drilled at the 49-yard line. 13-yard return, 38-yard punt. Check in with Rob Stone on the sideline.
Guys, it's been a nice 24-hour period for the Boise State football family. We have our own, Friday night high school showcase game. This from last night. Local school Bishop Kelly taking on Valley View. The quarterback for Bishop Kelly, Cody Hawkins, coach's son, one of the best QBs in the state, hooking up with his receiver, Tommy Blameyer, who just happens to be the son of Boise State's athletic director. Hawkins and Blameyer, a pretty good combo at the college and the high school levels. How about a 50-0 win for the unbeaten Bishop Kelly High School team?
Wow, that's neat stuff.
And Hawkins' college team has a 31-point lead as Zabransky is chased out and throws it away.
Well, the thing that Cody Hawkins is interesting when you think about his dad, Dan Hawkins, and most fathers will understand this, Dan does not coach his son, Cody. And it's kind of hard for you to coach your own kid. And you know who does coach him? Chris Peterson, the offensive coordinator. He comes around and gets a little hands-on coaching from a guy who's pretty good at it.
It's interesting. You'd think that when you have someone that's that closely involved with the game that
just wait till you're a dad and you're trying to work with your son. It just doesn't work.
So you're speaking from experience. Zabransky's pass caught beautifully by Dryzen James for a first down at the 38-yard line. 12-yard gain for Boise State. Saturday on ESPN and ESPN2, Brock Berlin and Miami taking on North Carolina on ESPN2. Then on ESPN at 7:45 Eastern, Ole Miss, which beat Auburn last year, taking on a Tiger team much better in 2004. In fact, should Auburn win, Tigers would clinch the SEC West and earn a spot in the SEC championship game. Day 2 of 19 straight days of football here tonight on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. And here goes Quentin Jones. And Jones is in for another Boise State rushing touchdown. Well, they have about 50 running backs on the roster, and I think they've all touched it tonight. Maybe all of them have scored.
This is the fly sweep. Steve Spurrier made this famous at Florida, and they block it perfectly. They get the right defense. They block it perfectly.
Another point after. 41-3.
Now here's your fly sweep. You're going to get motion here. Now watch what happens here. Watch the corners come up and watch how they get blocked completely. They get kicked out of there, and there's no problem running this thing into the end zone. 1 block, 2 blocks. There's your lane, and there's your speed.
And they faked Lee Marks, number 17, the other running back, all the way over to the left, drew 3 defenders on that fake. And the interesting thing is that in talking to Hawaii's coaches in the week before the game, they mentioned a number of Boise's offensive players. They mentioned T.J. Acree. They mentioned Jared Zabransky. They mentioned running back Lee Marks, but Quentin Jones' name never came up. So that's another, I think, kudo to offensive coordinator Chris Peterson on using so many different players that opposing coaches don't know who to focus in on.
Well, one of the interesting things is that people want to know how Chris Peterson teaches all these plays to all these guys. And he said, you know something? I don't have to. We have packages. Guys only have to learn a few things. That's why we have such a vast package, and it confuses everybody else out there.
Yeah, it does. And part of the problem for defenses in keying in on that is that there are such a vast number of packages that it's about impossible to key in on what they're doing because so many different packages come in.
Well, Tyler Jones' leg is getting a workout. This one is 1 yard deep in the end zone. And Ferguson reverses his ground. Does well to get to the 20-yard line. How will Tim Chang finish? Will he get the record tonight? He needs 130 now to knock off Ty Detmer as the NCAA all-time passing champ.
Well, he's working on 2 records. 2 more interceptions ties the all-time career interception record as well.
Not a good night for Chang. 12 out of 27. Started well. But since Hawaii led 3-0, it's been all Broncos as they have executed beautifully after a couple of aberration snafus in the early going. And here's Brewster getting free. Finally wrestled to the floor by Franklin, but after a gain of 11 yards.
Obviously, June Jones would like for Tim Chang to have the record. They like to get it tonight. But the other thing he's cognizant of is the fact that they want to get to a bowl game. He's got to get some things squared away with his team because they're not helping and they're beat up. And he's trying to get some things going because they've got a few games after tonight that they've got to worry about if they got a shot at getting to a bowl game.
From the Hawaii 31. Inside handoff to Brewster and a gain of about 3 or so. Well, June Jones has had to work a little bit with Tim Chang. Told him after the bowl game last year, hey, you need to work harder and you need to get in the weight room, get in the film room. And Chang has done that. And this is not the first quarterback that Jones has had to deal with over the course of his career that's been a little bit on the difficult side. Now, the difference between Chang and some of the other guys that Jones has had, we'll show you that in a moment. Chang's a pretty good kid. Just took him a little bit of time to mature, as opposed to 2 other players in particular. And while your mind starts to wander thinking about who those guys are, here's Chang to the air again, being chased and almost throwing an interception. Yes, it is picked off at the 39-yard line by Cam Hall. And the record that he did not want to set tonight may go down. He's 1 pick away from tying the NCAA record.
He's pressing here. This is one he shouldn't throw. And he gets some pressure, and now this guy's covered. And you see great coverage there, and he's moving away, has nothing on it, and it gets picked off.
And that's a great example of how Boise is limiting Chang tonight. They're getting pressure on him with selective blitzes, and then the coverage is very tight on the receivers. They're not afraid of those receivers getting loose deep. They're covering them tight all over the field.
2 interceptions in a half for Chang. First down for Boise State now at the 39 of Hawaii. I think every drive over the last quarter and a half has started inside Hawaii territory. Here's another fake. And Zabransky is inside the 25 to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, at some point, the fakes aren't fakes. They become your regular offense. And watch this thing. That's that fake read, and he's got nobody in front of him, really.
Well, he stuck it all the way into the back stomach before he pulled it out. I mean, the closest you can compare that to, I think, is Peyton Manning.
That's great stuff.
So first down for Zabransky at the 24. This time they run it as Elmendaler gets to the 19-yard line. Well, as we said earlier, June Jones has a history of working with quarterbacks that needed a little extra attention. Jeff George, when he was the head coach in Atlanta, that must have been interesting. And even more so, Ryan Leaf in San Diego.
Well, I wouldn't put Timmy Chang in the same category with those guys. I mean, Timmy Chang's problem was that he wasn't a hard worker. He didn't become a hard worker until the last year.
It's a matter of maturity with Chang, or with the other guys, it was a lot more than that. As McCarty just hammers through 3 Hawaii players to the 7-yard line. 12-yard gain.
Yeah, and with Timmy Chang, really, he was so good just with raw talent in high school and his first 3 years in Hawaii. He didn't really feel like he had to work hard. But with the senior year coming up, June Jones told him that if he wants to be the best he can be, he had to start working like the greats have always worked. And the light went on for him. And starting in January this past offseason, he was down at the complex sometimes twice a day, working out, studying film. And imagine what he could be, as great as he is now, had he started that his freshman year.
On first and goal, Helmendaler looking for his third rushing touchdown, and his knee was down just shy of the goal line. John Helmendaler, with only 12 carries on the season coming into tonight, has 11 in this game for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You just never know with this offense.
Yeah.
You never know who the guy is going to be that gets the ball.
Right, it's crazy. I mean, they've got some Bo Schembechler pounding up the middle. You got some Houdini with all the ball fakes.
Here it's Zabransky looking for his third rushing touchdown, and he scores. Third rushing TD for Zabransky. Six rushing scores for the pass-happy Boise State Broncos.
Well, Houdini reaches over some prestidigitation. That sleight of hand. This time, the sleight of hand is slightly over the goal line.
Another extra point for Tyler Jones. Remember, Rod's the Stanford guy. He's supposed to say those things, not the BYU guy. Tim Chang will come back onto the field, but I don't know if he wants to. His team's down 48-3.
Sharp Aquos liquid crystal television. Truer color is the key.
Boise, Idaho, the Broncos looking to extend the nation's longest winning streak to 19 games and add Hawaii to its rest in peace list for 2004. They knocked off Fresno State here last week, a game that some thought Boise might lose. The Broncos handled the Bulldogs easily, and even more so tonight, taking care of Hawaii, 48-3. And Tim Chang will actually get some good field position here at the 35 as that kick goes out of bounds from Tyler Jones.
By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
I think Boise State is one of those undefeated teams that will remain undefeated.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a stretch. Oh, you mean not just tonight?
Not just tonight.
Not just tonight.
One interception away is Chang from tying Mark Herman. Played in the late 70s at Purdue. First down from the Hawaii 35. Chang with 111 yards passing, so he needs 130 to get the record that he's hoping to break tonight, Ty Detmer's career passing mark. That's more like it for Chang. He finds Jason Rivers, who's been heavily involved in the offense tonight.
We talk about bad decisions, bad interceptions. There's one right there. Gabe Franklin picks one off, and Cam Hall gets the other one. Both times, great coverage, bad throws.
Now 122 passing yards away from Detmer. 32 career 300-yard games, 8 400-yard games, and 1 500-yard game for Tim Chang. June Jones says when he gets the record, it will not be broken. Chang on second down, pass too high for Welch. It'll bring up third down and 1. Tim Chang's mom, Marianne, making the trip from Hawaii. And it's like 40 degrees. I mean, it's not like 5 below. But Marianne, not used to this kind of weather.
Big change from Hawaii. Dad Levi back at home watching. Probably a little bit warmer than the Hawaii folks are here.
As Rob said earlier, they were lined up in restaurants and bars 2 p.m. Hawaii time for this game. On 3rd and 1. Chang's pass not there. An errant throw to Jason Rivers makes it 4th down But you would assume Hawaii would go for it here, down 45 with just over 3 to play in the third. Now they're going to punt it.
You know, Chang just doesn't look the same to me. I think that left shoulder is a bigger problem than anybody knows. I mean, he was separated. Wasn't sure he'd play last week. Played against San Jose State. Took a hit on it tonight. I mean, I think that affects his accuracy.
Yeah, that shot that he took in the first half has definitely made him look like a different player since. Fair catch signal by Smith. Has it at the 15-yard line. 41-yard punt and no return. And Boise State, as we look at the hit in the first half on Chang.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. He takes a shot on that left shoulder. Onabakun falls on the left shoulder as the right shoulder hits the turf. And you see it looks like he's just holding it just a little bit there.
Yeah, those shoulder pads did nothing to help protect him. They're very narrow. They're very light, as any quarterback shoulder pads will be. But by landing sort of vertically with his right shoulder on the ground and his left shoulder up in the air, that is a dangerous way to have someone fall on.
First down at the Boise State 15-yard line. Here comes some blitz. And Zabransky again getting away. There's nobody around him. Zabransky still going. Down the far sideline. 85-yard touchdown run by Zabransky. His 4th rushing score of the night. Not bad for the son of a potato farmer from Oregon.
He doesn't look like a quarterback here. It looks like a running back. They've used him as running back in the past. And watch him now. Watch him open it up as he gets to the outside.
And Jeff Carpenter, number 22, throws a great block on Kenny Patton. And that's what opens it up.
10 carries, 123 yards, 85 on 1 carry, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Coming in, everybody was talking about Tim Chang. The story tonight at the quarterback position has been Zabransky on the ground.
Well, Zabransky's become a little bit of a local celebrity here. Lots of interviews, trouble managing his time. No trouble managing his way down the field here.
There's a quarterback with 4.6 speed, and this element just drives defenses crazy because you've got to keep up with all those fast wide receivers running all over the field. You try to stay with the running backs as they come out, and all of a sudden the quarterback busts out.
Well, you saw the athleticism bust out on that run. I mean, he didn't look like a quarterback. I mean, this is a guy who was probably the greatest athlete at his high school. No other colleges wanted him. He wanted to go to Oregon State. Oregon State wouldn't recruit him. He became the quarterback here. He won the job because of his athleticism.
Well, he ran the wing T, single wing in high school. Hardly ever threw the ball. Came to Boise during high school for the Boise football camp. In order to learn how to throw the ball better, that's where the Broncos discovered it.
Not like he has an easy job this year, taking over for Ryan Dinwiddie, who was the player of the year in the WAC last year. Zabransky only threw about 15 passes last year. He's got Boise State rolling this year as we go down to Rob Stone on the sideline.
Trev, you just touched on it. Boise State wasn't even on Zabransky's radar until that football camp just before his senior year in high school. He actually arrived at that camp a day late because of baseball commitments, but the second day at the camp, some of the staff coaches pulled him aside and put him through a series of drills. They tested his footwork. They let him air it out, open it up. Turns out that was basically his tryout to be at Boise State. If they wanted him, they basically put him through the stuff that they make him do right now. It worked, and it's working right now.
The other standout quarterback in the game who has struggled tonight, Tim Chang back in, but it's a running play to Brewster, and then he's driven down by one of the great names in college football, Deshaun Kabong.
Yeah, and the tryout that Rob said that they put him through, it never dawned on Zabransky when he came to this camp that this would even be anything like a tryout. But then on that second day, when the coaches pulled the wide receivers aside and Zabransky aside, had to do certain things with his footwork, had to make certain throws, it dawned on him, hey, these guys might want me.
longest rushing touchdown in Boise State history, an 85-yard jaunt by the quarterback, Jared Zabransky. Chang's pass through the hands of Britton Comine. He has struggled tonight. Comine has had trouble getting open. Only one catch in the night. Came in with 29 and a couple of touchdowns this year.
This is one of the ways that they are stymieing this. Take a look at how the alley that the ball has to go through. Ron Collins, defensive coordinator, is creating those slim alleys. He's making Chang throw the ball out of timing, out of the way that he wants his routes to develop by getting guys underneath.
Chang is 13 of 32, 2 interceptions. Here he's got a first down as he hits Gerald Welch, high school teammate of Chang at the St. Louis school in Hawaii. Colt Brooks on the tackle.
I think one of the things that's a little confusing for Tim Chang is the bracket coverage that Boise State is using at times. Bracket coverage, you have two defenders, one guy lays outside, one guy lays inside, and you just stay outside if that's your responsibility. You take the receiver who goes outside. You don't cover a man, you cover an area outside, and that's been, I think, a little confusing for Chang tonight.
I'm confused.
You can be, though. You were a center. There's a good throw by Chang, and a nice grab by Gerald Welch, his second straight catch. 9-yard pickup.
Remember the run and shoot component of this Hawaii offense, where the receivers read the coverage and alter their route based on what they see. The quarterback needs to read the same coverage and know how the receivers are going to change. It looks like Boise is also reading those. They know where those balls are going to go, and they've got defenders in the underneath passing lanes, throwing off the timing.
2nd and 1 for Chang and company. Kali'i Kipi picks up the first down. Gets to the 45-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play. Kang tackled with Dan Gore, a redshirt freshman from Washington State, leading the charge. Well, to simulate Kali'i Kipi this week, Boise State put an offensive lineman in the game at tailback. But
that makes sense.
Offensive linemen, I don't think, have the speed of the feet that this kid has.
No, just the size, about 280 pounds.
Headache's the same, though, when you try to tackle him.
108 yards away is Chang from Detmer. And he's going up top, and he ties the NCAA record for interceptions as that one is picked off by Tadman. And Tadman's still going. And finally tackled. It's the record Chang was hoping he wouldn't set. He ties Mark Herman for the most interceptions in a college career. We said at the outset history would be made. We didn't think that it would be this record.
Neither did his mother. Well, he won't see the safety playing free in the middle. He thinks he's got simple man coverage, forgot about the safety. There's your record, another pick.
73 career interceptions for Chang. It's too bad. You would have loved to have seen a chance here on national television for him to get the record. He still might, and maybe that'll take some of the sting out of a 3-interception game. New quarterback for Boise State, Mike Sanford. And here's Carpenter on the pitch. And Carpenter getting to the outside, to the 10. And Carpenter is in. Another rushing touchdown for Boise State. Their 8th on the night. We thought we'd have a lot of points. We just didn't think they'd all be for one team. 62 with a little bit over a quarter to play. 8 rushing touchdowns, half of them by the quarterback, Zabransky.
Well, you knew Boise State would try and take advantage of the depleted defense that Hawaii was brought in tonight. But this is ridiculous.
Dan Hawkins has quite a squad here in Boise. They're ranked 15th in the coaches poll, 13th in the BCS standings. Based on what you guys have seen, you've seen them now for 4 or 5 games. Are they worthy of a top 15 ranking? They're ranked 15th right now.
Sure, I don't think they're going to lose another game. I think they're going to be undefeated.
They've got their 7-0 start. That's the first time they'd ever done that. Their first win against the Pac-10 team came against Oregon State earlier in the year, an 18-game winning streak, leading the NCAA in rushing defense, and they're 103rd in the NCAA in pass defense because they focus so heavily on the run. But today, they have completely shut down, to this point, a man who is on the cusp of setting the all-time NCAA passing yardage record.
It'll be 19 straight overall wins, 23 straight WAC wins, 24 straight home wins. And Ferguson says, what the hey, I'm going to take it out. And he doesn't even get to where he would have had he just taken a knee. He gets to the 19-yard line. And that is the end of the third quarter. We thought we'd be talking about Tim Chang breaking Ty Detmer's record. But most of the talk tonight has been about Boise State's quarterback, Jared Zabransky. 4 of the 8 Bronco rushing touchdowns. 62-3, Boise State all over Tim Chang in Hawaii. We thought we'd be talking all night about Chang. Instead, Boise State quarterback Jared Zabransky has been the story. 4 rushing touchdowns. He's made the most of the moment. Here's our call in the moment at the Boise State 15-yard line. Here comes some blitz. And Zabransky again getting away. There's nobody around him. Zabransky still going. Down the far sideline. 85-yard touchdown. That was our call in the moment. 1 of 4 touchdowns for Zabransky. Here's the completion as Chang finds Jason Rivers on the sideline for a gain of 5 yards.
So that's just amazing, Zabransky's speed on that play. Anytime you have a quarterback not named Vic that can outrun the entire defensive backfield for that long, you've got a guy that's dangerous. 4.6 speed, but he gets it all onto the field.
He ties a Boise State single-game record with 4 rushing touchdowns. And as you saw a moment ago, that 85-yarder, the longest ever for a Boise State player. Chang gonna run this time and gets out of play at the 31.
Cam Hall was giving him nothing there. Chang started to slow up. Cam Hall did not slow up, and had Chang not re-accelerated, he'd have got drilled just before going out of bounds. They're keeping the foot on the neck, this Boise team is.
Well, he'd much rather throw the ball down the field. But Boise State, defensively, they've got a couple guys laying off 15 to 20 yards.
102 yards away from breaking one record. He already tied another with 3 interceptions, so he now is tied for the most ever in a college career. And still looking for Ty Detmer's passing record. That pass is overthrown, trying for Komine.
You know what, though? I don't even know that he wants to break it tonight. I mean, he's got a good chance of breaking it, but talk about a sour note if he does to break the record on such a terrible night for the team as a whole. Next week, they're at home against Louisiana Tech.
And they've got to go 4-2 to qualify for a bowl game. Normally, they go to the Hawaii Bowl, but obviously, this is going to be a loss. So they're going to have to win 4 of their final 5 just to qualify. They have to go 7-5 because they play a 12th game. And they'll be 3-4 after tonight. On 2nd and 10, Chang again. And he's got an incompletion. Looked like it was going to be caught there by Owens, but he couldn't hang on to it.
We talk about a bowl game for Hawaii. Ooh, tough games. They finish down there with Michigan State. The Fresno State game won't be easy. Northwestern can score points.
Well, the biggest danger, I think, for Michigan State and Northwestern coming out of the snows of the Big Ten to Hawaii is getting sunburned on the beach at Waikiki. You've got to be careful about that when you go play Hawaii in December.
Yep, easy to relax when you're playing down there. And you're used to playing those cold, Big Ten games at the end of November. Chang on 3rd down and 10. And Welch going to be very close. I think he's got it at the 41-yard line. Move the sticks. Gabe Franklin on the tackle.
I think the success of that pass play just puts into relief how Boise has been stopping Chang. That time he drilled the ball. There were no defenders underneath to disrupt the timing of that. And that's why the timing was successful there.
Guys, we've seen Oregon State and BYU throw a lot of deep balls behind this defense. It has not happened tonight.
92 yards to go for Chang. On the flanker screen, nowhere to go for Jason Rivers. Boise State still playing hard on defense, even though they're up by 59 points.
Well, Boise State using zone coverage, keeping 3 or 4 guys deep at times. Other times playing man, keeping a safety back to help out. Resulted in 1 interception. So they're not letting anything deep happen at all tonight.
I hope he gets the record, because at least that'll take away some of the sour taste of tying the interception record and losing this game by 60 points. You'd hate to leave here without at least some sort of moral victory. As that pass is caught by Comine at the 44-yard line as he inches closer to the record. Picked up 14 yards there. Under 80 yards to go now for Chang.
Rod, you mentioned success at throwing the ball deep. This is the field they practice on. And so the defense gets the far side. The offense gets the near side. There's only 50 yards to practice against deep passes against you. And so this is the only Division I team in America that only has one field to practice on. That's one of the bricks in the foundation that Dan Hawkins wants. He needs to upgrade the facilities.
From the 44. Chang hits, he throws, and it's intercepted by Boise State. Chris Warrioes inside the 20. Touchdown. One record falls as Tim Chang throws his 4th pick of the night. 74 for his career, and another score for Boise State.
Now you have to feel for Tim Chang. And it's just, he's been such a great competitor, had such a roller coaster collegiate career. He's been a great college quarterback, and on the night he wanted to break the record of Ty Detmer. That's not the one he breaks.
He still might break Detmer's record. He's going to get another chance here after this PAT. But 4 interceptions, that's more than he had all season long coming into tonight. 69-3. 5 turnovers by Hawaii, leading to 28 Bronco points.
Sunday NFL Countdown presented by Old Spice, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
White gold bracelet, just $399.99. Zales, the diamond store.
Ooh, I like steak and chicken. Like the grilled shrimp, please. Sizzling in a skillet. Get 'em at Applebee's.
Skillets, he likes sauce and mushrooms. Chicken, sure to please. He wants skillet sensations. They're back at Applebee's.
Applebee's skillet sensations are back. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Not a fun second half for Hawaii. They have allowed 45 second half points, and this one is in or out. What Dan Hawkins has achieved here at Boise State is truly incredible, especially when you start listening to some of his budget type stories. One great one, take you back to last year versus BYU. One of his players had his helmet busted, couldn't practice until the following Tuesday when they could get a replacement for him. His secretary, one of the most important yet unheralded positions really for any head coach, also works for the golf and wrestling teams. And when players ask if they can, take summer school, usually not that big of a problem at most schools. Guys, Hawkins half jokes, I'll make some calls and we'll hold a cookie sale. This, not a knock on Boise State, it's just a verification that there is a lot of room to grow, which he likes to say, in this program.
And it's a verification that he's truly making bricks without straw here.
Well, We have an injured Hawaii player down.
Yeah, last year, boy, what else to do? This is it rains, it pours for Hawaii. When you talk about those budgetary concerns, last year when they played BYU, they flew down to Provo, Utah, but they bussed back home about 7 hours to Boise just to save money so they wouldn't have to charter another airplane. And so the budget this year for equipment that Dan Hawkins has to work with is less than what head coach Houston Nutt had to deal with 7 years ago. So he told us yesterday that he's got a building here that's got walls and a ceiling, which is the team on the field, but he doesn't have a foundation, which is the facilities and equipment that he needs.
Well, that's why you see coaches have come here and they've left here. Houston Nutt moved on to Arkansas. Dirk Cutter went on to Arizona State. Hawkins got the job. Will he leave?
I think as long as he sees progress towards that foundation, he'll stick around. Right now, they've got architectural drawings for some of the upgrades of facilities. They've got feasibility studies that'll be coming in about 2 weeks to see what the market will bear in terms of how much to charge for luxury suites. And as long as the money starts to come in, I think the quality of life here will keep him here.
But it all depends on who comes calling in the offseason. As that pass is caught by Komine, there was a report in the Boise paper earlier this week that he might be a candidate at Florida. Now, again, that is mostly speculation, but Hawkins is going to be a name. Now, there may be some movement of the Pac-10. Some coaches from that league may be moving on, providing perhaps some openings in that conference.
Well, it's that time of the year. I mean, once you get to November, and once one coach has already been fired, then the domino starts to happen, and then all the rumors will start to fly, and you'll hear his name with a lot of places. It's just going to become a life of its own.
Chang back to throw and has Welch, and he's out to the 42. Well, 4 years ago, when Cutter was looking at leaving, practice was going on, and Hawkins noticed that Dirk was on the phone. And then afterwards, he said to Dirk, "What are you on the phone with?" He said, "I had 5 phone calls from colleges during practice wanting to find out whether I'd be interested in taking a head coaching job elsewhere."
I mean, there's not a big secret about who the hot young coaches are out there these days. I mean, this guy's one of them. Urban Meyer's another one. Bobby Petrino at Louisville, he's another.
Chang inching closer, 183 passing yards in the game. Couple of pumps and almost threw another interception. That goes over the head of Welch.
And you talk about Urban Meyer, head coach of Utah. Mike Lewis, who's a columnist for the Salt Lake Tribune, has been all over his contract situation, and he sees that for all intents and purposes, Urban Meyer is free to leave, even though he's still under contract, anytime he'd like. Based on the way the buyouts work, he'll be able to get out of that contract. And so if Florida wants him, then he'll be able to go. Dan Hawkins doesn't have the big name right now of Bobby Petrino at Louisville or Urban Meyer, but he has got to be thought of as one of the most effective coaches.
And schools are looking for that young guy who's innovative, who's got a lot of energy, and he certainly has all 3 of those qualities. Brewster to the 45-yard line. Gain of 3 in the play.
But if you're a head coach with a coaching job, I don't think you need to answer any of these questions or respond to any of the rumors. I mean, Bob Stoops, any of these guys, Dan Hawkins, just because Florida has a job open, I don't think that anybody else has to. And Bob Stoops got forced into saying, "I'm not interested in the Florida job," when he didn't have to. He wasn't campaigning for the job. Why should he have to say anything?
Well, Dan Hawkins said that when you're a coach, you're either rumored to be hired by somebody else or rumored to be fired where you are. If you're average, you've got problems.
3rd and 7. Chang just gets it off, and he has a pass that's caught at the 40-yard line. Chad Owens still going, and Owens finally dropped inside the 30. Chang getting closer to Ty Detmer after a 28-yard completion.
And you saw what Chad Owens can do. It's one of the reasons why June Jones says he'll play in the NFL. He'll be a kick returner, a 3rd, 4th receiver, something like that. He said he reminds him of Vi Sikahama, who was one of the great punt returners in the NFL.
3 punt returns for touchdowns this year for Owens, 4 in his career, and 2 kick returns for touchdowns. He's a former walk-on. First down at the 30-yard line. He's 33 yards away, so he can't get it on this drive. They run it anyway. Inside the 25-yard line is Brewster.
Well, he actually could.
Well, if he gets sacked and then...
Right.
But chances are he's not going to get it on this drive.
I don't think he's even thinking about that right now, though. I mean, if he gets it, it'll probably be a surprise to him at this point.
What do you think he is thinking about with the score 69-3?
Oh, my goodness. Did I just have a game like this on national television?
You know, sometimes everything just goes wrong. It's just not your day or night.
4 interceptions in the game for Chang. He now is the all-time leader in college football in career interceptions with 74. Still 33 yards away from breaking Ty Detmer's career passing mark as there is some movement on the offensive line. Let's look at the interceptions thrown by Chang tonight.
Yep, Franklin gets this one. Hall steps in, picks up that one. And there's another one that is picked up by Tadman. And then finally, Chris Barrios gets a pick 6.
Keep in mind, though, that Babe Ruth set the all-time record for home runs, but also for strikeouts. You got to be pretty good, play for a long time to set the all-time record for strikeouts or interceptions, I guess. How's that for spin?
It works.
On 2nd and 10, they run a screen. Brewster trying to get away from the defender, can't. Taken down by Tim Hefty. There are some records out there that probably never will be broken. 2,629 yards for Barry Sanders in one season. Marcus Allen, most 200-yard rushing games in a season. I think there's Rod Gilmore missing a tackle.
Often left in his wake.
There's David Klingler, most TD passes in a season. And Klingler did not go on to be a very good NFL quarterback. What do you guys think about Chang at the next level? It's okay to be a very good college quarterback, but what do you think about him at the next level?
And he is a very good college quarterback.
3rd down and 9. Chang has it complete, but Owens is going to be short of the 1st down.
You know, I think sometimes we get caught up in looking ahead for guys, and you know, he's still got 6 games or so to finish up here and will have a tremendous career. I mean, he's just been wonderful. The next level, someone's going to draft him. Someone's going to put him in a West Coast offense more than likely. He's not going to be a 1st or 2nd round pick, but I think he'll play in the NFL.
Well, the things he has, you can't coach. He's got the quick release. He's got the knack for moving in the pocket and avoiding sacks. He's got accuracy, even though we didn't see it tonight, possibly because of the injury to his non-throwing shoulder. Those are innate qualities that scouts look for.
4th down and 5. Chang needs 28 yards. The ball's at the 25. This pass caught by Owens, pushing forward, going to be very close to the 1st down. I think he's got it at the 20-yard line.
Oh, give him the spot.
At this point.
You know what's interesting, guys? Chances are he's not going to get on this drive because of where the ball is. He may not get it back. He may have to wait until next week because of the time left in the quarter. And Boise State, you know, is just going to run the football. Ty Detmer, 15,031 yards. Chang is now over 15,000.
Now you see at the bottom that Detmer would have 16,206 if you include his bowl game numbers. But don't worry about that because Chang will pass that number by the end of the season.
Yeah, back when Detmer played, they did not count bowl games to your career passing totals, which they do now. As Chang goes to the end zone, nearly picked off by Franklin.
Well, one of the reasons that June Jones believes that this is a record when it does get set, and it will never be broken, is because of the extra games that Chang plays. When you play in Hawaii, they give you an extra game every year to help to compensate for the cost of travel back to the mainland, just as teams that go to Hawaii get an extra game. That's 4 extra games in his career. In addition to that, he had a medical redshirt year where he played most of 3 games, was leading the nation in passing at the time he got hurt late in that 3rd game. That gives him a lot of extra games, and one of the reasons that it would be tough for a non-Hawaii kid to break this record in the future.
Sports Center coming up following our game. Chang with his 51st pass of the night, and it's caught at the 11-yard line by Jason Rivers. He's been very active tonight, 9 catches for Rivers.
And I think all 9 of them have been little out patterns like that. Can't give Boise State enough credit for taking away the deep ball. It's one thing that's been a problem for them all season long. Oregon State killed them. BYU killed them with it. But not one ball has gone over their heads tonight.
And it's hard for them to practice it, practicing on a short field. They only get half of this blue turf during the week to practice on, but today they have succeeded in overcoming it.
Ball at the 10-yard line. Chang looking for his first touchdown pass of the night. Not going to get it. Omine, the intended receiver. Looked like Chang might have had him, but the pass was awry. We talked about whether Boise State is one of the top 15 teams in the country. You guys are saying that they deserve to be ranked in the top 15. How do you think they would fare against some of these other teams in the top 15?
You mean teams ahead of them or teams behind them?
Teams ahead of them that are in the top 15, that are better, at least according to the rankings.
You know what? I think offensively, none of these teams want to face Boise. To play Boise, you would have to outscore them in a shootout. And every game might be a shootout, but you've got to keep up with Zabransky and company.
4th down and 1. Chang, and Boise State will take over with 6:09 to play.
You know something? As far as that goes for Boise State, let's let them get to a bowl game. Let's see the matchup and see what happens. Because who they match up with may tell you whether they can hang with them.
I was talking to some folks before the game, and one of the things they're hoping is that Utah will get a BCS bowl. Of course, they're hoping to be in a BCS bowl as well. You have to be in the top 12 to be considered, top 6 to be guaranteed. They're hoping Utah gets a BCS bowl, because then the Liberty Bowl, if the champion of the Mountain West doesn't go there, they can decide whoever they want to pick. And Boise State is hoping that the Liberty Bowl will select them. And if that were to happen, they could end up playing Louisville. That would be quite a game. Here's a running play as Carter is past the 20 to the 21-yard line.
Well, whoever they would play in a bowl game absolutely does not want to play these guys, because they're probably the most dangerous non-BCS team.
AAC, top teams. USC, Oklahoma, Miami. Now, which of those teams do you think would match up best with Boise State? And as I go down that list, I don't find the best matchup until I get maybe to West Virginia. I think all the others may not be the best matchup for Boise State.
Timeout called by Boise State. 66-point lead for Boise State, trying to make it 19 straight wins.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Aquavelva. Aquavelva keeps your face toned and fit. There's something about an Aquavelva man.
Well, as always, a lot of Saturday storylines in college football. And one of the great series in the land is resuming tomorrow down in Stillwater. Second-ranked Oklahoma taking on 20th-ranked Oklahoma State. The Cowboys have won 2 of the last 3 meetings.
I think Oklahoma will be okay. I think Oklahoma will actually win out. I think they're a much tougher football team with Adrian Peterson in the backfield.
They are. And I think in this game, both teams can run the ball, but Oklahoma has a huge advantage with Jason White at quarterback. Donovan Woods for Oklahoma State is very efficient in his passing, but Jason White can light it up. When teams in the last 2 games started stacking against Adrian Peterson, Jason White in the last 2 games threw 8 touchdown passes. Last week, he threw for 369 yards, or 89 yards, I'm sorry, which is only 40 yards shy of the Oklahoma all-time passing record set by Josh Heupel. So I think that that's where Oklahoma has their advantage.
Jared Zabransky, a terrific night for Boise State. 4 rushing touchdowns, 4 of the 8 rushing touchdowns. 11 of 19 passing, 164 yards. One of the unsung heroes on this Boise State team. You know, in the open, we showed you highlights from Tulane and TCU and Miami of Ohio over the years being non-BCS teams with excellent records and getting into the top 10. What's different about this team compared to those teams, there's no star. You know, you had Roethlisberger, Miami of Ohio, look what he's doing. Pennington and Marshall, Leftwich at Marshall, Tomlinson at TCU, Sean King at Tulane, who's gone on to have a decent NFL career. But there's no stars on this Boise State team.
You wonder, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Week in and week out. And the one guy who kind of stands up is Zabransky. But his numbers don't jump out at you. He just plays efficiently, breaks off a couple of big runs.
So then the question is, how is it that they're able to be so successful without the big stars? And they use so many different formations to utilize the talents that the players that they have do have. Because every player knows they're going to have a formation and a chance to play in the game, they're excited for practice. They practice harder, and that shows up on the field.
The WAC has 3 guarantees in terms of bowl games as they line up under the shotgun and hand it off to McCarty, who's up near the 38-yard line. Fumbled at the last moment, and they did not say McCarty was down. Did Hawaii come up with it? If Hawaii comes up with it, that would give Chang a chance to break the record. Looks like Boise State got it back. But the 3 WAC bowl guarantees are the Humanitarian Bowl, Silicon Valley Classic, and the Hawaii Bowl.
Well, I think Chang's going to get another shot. I mean, I think he's going to get the ball back. Either the defense is going to rise to the occasion and get a stop, or Boise State's going to score pretty quickly. I mean, that last run was, what, 15, 18 yards? A couple more like that, they'll be in the end zone.
Correction, it's the MPC Computers Bowl, not the Humanitarian Bowl, that is one of the 3 bowls that WAC teams get invited to. That's the current name of that bowl. Handoff that goes for 5 yards. Check in with Rob Stone.
All right, guys, time to break out the straw skirts and put the pig on a stick. It's time for good old-fashioned luau. 4 members of the Broncos football team take part of the Hui O Aloha Club here, which promotes and perpetuates Pacific Islands culture through song and dance. They take it seriously. These scenes from a luau they hosted in April, and those are the football guys front and center doing the Kana Naka dance. I'd like to see Trev Alberts get out there and do the Kana Naka dance. Actually, a pretty big Hawaiian population out here, Dave, about 700 or so.
What would be even more interesting would be to see Trevor Maddich and Rod Gilmore doing that kind of dance.
Yeah. Hey, wait. We go as a team. You be right with us, buddy.
And that means we're all wearing grass skirts? I don't know about that.
I don't know if the fans would want to get a shot of that. Hopefully there wouldn't be any video cameras around.
Well, you know, I hope that Hawaii doesn't get this ball back. Timmy Chang deserves to set that all-time record in a better environment with a better field than this. I almost hope that for his sake and for what he deserves, because that is such a massive record, one that may not be broken for many, many years, if ever, according to June Jones. I think he deserves to set that at home in a winning situation.
McCarty on the run again, barreling to the 44-yard line. Coming up on SportsCenter, Steve Levy and Linda Cohn will get you caught up on the day's news in the world of sports. Boise Yen for football Zen. That's in reference to head coach Dan Hawkins. Which college unbeaten will fall? Top 6 in the BCS rankings, all on the road. And a preview of NFL Week 8, including a Sunday night NFL game that likely will feature the 2 starting quarterbacks from the national title game 2 years ago. Ken Dorsey starting for San Francisco. Rattay is hurt. Dorsey might start. And Craig Krenzel starting for Chicago, former Miami and Ohio State quarterback. Carter diving to the 38-yard line, a 6-yard gain.
You know, one thing that comes to mind when you watch Hawaii's defense and all the injuries that they had, if you look at the undefeated teams, you have to be concerned about depth, injuries. Injuries can have an impact in the last month of the season as we look at teams like USC and Oklahoma, Miami. And some of those teams are getting banged up a little bit. Injuries will play a big factor as to who stays undefeated down the stretch here the last month of the season.
And injuries have just annihilated Hawaii's defense. So many of their key players are either out with injury or playing hobbled today.
Here's a toss sweep to Brad Lau. Penalty flag flies in. That'll stop the clock. I don't know if Chang is going to get it back at this rate.
Rod, you mentioned that depth. And Utah coach Urban Meyer in Utah right now ranked 6th in the BCS rankings. If they stay there, they will be guaranteed a berth in the BCS Bowl. He said in the preseason during camp that his team is really great in the starting lineups, but really seriously lacks depth. And so depth that you mentioned, that's a huge thing, especially as seasons go on and schedules get tougher.
Well, Utah's been healthy, and when you have a championship year, you got to have some luck. Luck is being healthy. Sometimes you don't control whether you get injuries or not.
Depth a bigger issue for non-BCS schools because of the talent level.
Well, yeah, it is. I think you look at the non-BCS schools, and you know the top ones have 25 to 30 guys who can step on the field with the best of the BCS schools. And it's the depth after that that may become an issue.
Well, part of that goes to recruiting. I think that's one of the reasons that, as you look at the top 25 non-BCS schools, why it's unfair to say that those schools would or would not do well if you drop them into a full schedule of SEC or ACC games, because they don't recruit to a full schedule of SEC or ACC games. If you put them in those conferences, they would get in their recruiting the depth to be able to compete there.
Second down from midfield. And Sanford trying to get away from Louis Funga and stops the clock with 1:52 to play.
Speaking of Utah, Mike Sanford is the son of Mike Sanford, the offensive coordinator at Utah.
And Mike's dad could be a candidate for a head coaching job next fall.
That's right. His name has come up in connection with the job at Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, where John Robinson is stepping down after such a great collegiate and professional career as a coach.
Third down and 18. Boise State going to run the nation's longest winning streak to 19 games, when its 24th straight at home.
You talk about John Robinson retiring at UNLV. He had a comment after playing Utah last week. After the game, he pointed over to the Utah locker room and said to the press, "That is a national title contending team." He said they're playing as well as any team in the country right now, and their talent, certainly in the front line, is as good as anybody in the country. And that, coming from John Robinson, is a tremendous compliment for Urban Meyer and his squad.
Well, Boise State is going to punt, which means Tim Chang will get one more crack at breaking Ty Detmer's NCAA career passing mark before this game ends. Kyle Stringer booted away. And hits it way too hard. So Hawaii will start at the 20 with 54 seconds left. Will Tim Chang get the record? Needs 14 yards to do it. Hawaii down 69 to 3.
Start the day with a splash. Train on the blue. Moving to the...
Sets the NCAA career interception mark tonight, but will not set Ty Detmer, or not set the NCAA career passing mark, moving ahead of Ty Detmer. 227 yards leaves Chang 14 yards shy, and he'll do it next week against Louisiana Tech. In the meantime, Kainoa Akina will go into the game hands off for Brewster, as June Jones has decided to let Chang try to break the record at home. You guys agree with that move?
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, I think Trevor said it best earlier. Bad taste to set a record when you lose by 66 points. So I think good job by June Jones pulling him out and not putting him in the last minute just to throw a ball and get 14 yards.
Yeah, this is just one game in a great career. That record, you go back 4 years and then some in that medical redshirt year at the start. And he has gotten to the cusp of this record because he is truly a great quarterback who truly deserves it. And it's the right call by June Jones to allow him a shot to win it at home in a game that they've got a chance to win.
Nearly an interception. Barrios almost got his second one. Well, June Jones perhaps taking a quote from Dan Hawkins, who loves to give out motivational quotes to his players. And Hawkins told us, bigger isn't better, better is better. And certainly would be better for Chang at home to get the record. And he'll be 14 yards shy heading into next week's game. Unfortunately, he did have to set one record, the NCAA career interception mark. Akina, and an interception, which is a fitting end to this disastrous offensive performance for Hawaii. Timmy Chang will go into next week's game 14 yards shy of becoming the NCAA's all-time pass leader. Dan Hawkins' team throttles Hawaii 69 to 3, thanks to 8 rushing touchdowns. Sports Center is coming up next. Todd Gilmore, Trevor Maddox, Rob Stone, and our entire ESPN2 crew. Dave Pash sings So Long from Boise. Sports Center is coming up right now.
His players admit they don't know what Zen is, but that's okay with
be the end for a local legend turned national record setter. Timmy Chang, the all-time leading passer in big-time college football, takes the field for the final time in Honolulu. And as the sun sets on Chang's career at the University of Hawaii, he leaves behind a legacy and records for future quarterbacks to chase. Tonight, one more win will mean one more game before riding away into the sunset. And welcome to Paradise, a wet, windy version of Paradise tonight as ESPN2 College Football Saturday Primetime brings you Michigan State trying to finish at 500 in 2004 against Hawaii, trying to finish in a bowl for the second straight year here in Honolulu. If they win, they will play again in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. That'll be on Christmas Eve. Welcome, Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, David Dorey. If they lose, however, David, then this is it. This is the last time anyone here will get a chance to enjoy the most prolific passer in big-time college football history, Timmy Chang.
Well, Timmy Chang has the record. He's thrown for over 16,000 yards, had his biggest game of the season last week, an upset of Northwestern. He's going to have monster numbers to pull off an upset tonight. And more importantly, they get that extra game. And if Tim Chang gets an extra game, a bowl game here on the island, the legend of Tim Chang will continue to grow.
And Michigan State has the task of keeping the football away from Mr. Chang. Best done with their outstanding running attack. Second in the Big Ten with a quarterback, Drew Stanton, whom his coach calls a drunken sailor when he runs with the ball. But he does average 7.3 yards per carry. And Drew Stanton is the leader of this Michigan State squad. To finish 500, they've got to win this one tonight, and the best way to do that is to keep it on the ground and away from Timmy Chang.
Michigan State runs it about as well as anybody in the country. Hawaii must throw, and they must throw well in 30-mile-an-hour winds to win it tonight. Kickoff next.
John L. says he wants to make this trip as miserable as he can for his players. Dave, not the usual approach we're used to seeing coaches take when they come here to Hawaii. We'll see if it works tonight.
No, in fact, Bill, it's the only time we can ever recall a coach not treating this as the greatest thing that's ever happened to their program. What do you suppose is going through his mind even before he knew that they would be dealing with 30-mile-an-hour winds? Even so, it's about 40 degrees or so nicer